I'm assuming we are live. Hello, everyone who is watching. Hi. Hi, my name is Lee. And for the next couple of hours, next 4 hours, we are going to be playing Dusk to Midnight by Riley Reffel. You can find this game and much of her other work at metagame.itch.io, the best link in the world. This is the Roll Plus Bond anniversary stream. This community's been around for 2 years now. I haven't been here the whole time, but yeah. During the stream, we're also raising money for the Native American Rights Fund, which is the oldest and largest non-profit legal organization with a focus on asserting and defending the rights of Indian tribes, organizations, and individuals throughout America, with a focus on 5 key areas: preserving tribal existence, protecting tribal natural resources, promoting Native American human rights, holding governments accountable to Native Americans, and developing Indian law and educating the public about Indian rights, laws, and issues. You can find out a lot more about the NARF and their mission and what they do at narf.org. And if you want to help us, I would say it seems like we've already reached our initial goal. And it's the start of the second day. So that's fantastic. If you wish to help us further surpass our goal, you can do that at tiltify.com/@rollplusbond or donate.rollplusbond.com. I'm sure there's a link in the chat now. And if not, there will be in a second.
There is.
Anyway.
It's right.
Now with the business out the way, for now. Hi, I'm Lee. And I am joined in this game, going down the Discord order, by Clouds.
Hello, I'm Clouds.
T.
Hello, Taya, for the record.
Yeah, sorry, apologies.
No worries, that happens.
I should have checked that beforehand. And Vivian.
Hi. Good morning.
Yeah, so it's an early Saturday morning, so we're going to do some Saturday morning cartoon stuff. Just to kind of go back in time and give some clarification for my initial pitch for this game. I kind of wanted to play something that recreated the feeling 13-year-old Lee had watching shows like Gundam Wing, which is that it was something different, it was something new and something exciting in TV. It had big giant robots. And that stuck with me for ever since. And yeah, we are going to kind of jump around the narrative a little bit. And so there might be some stuff where it kind of feels like we're missing something. Don't feel like you've missed anything in terms of story. We're just making it up as we go. The initial pitch was, this is episode 33 of a 49 episode anime. We're potentially looking at it more as we're starting at episode 10, and we'll get episodes 15, 16, 20, 25. I'm like, it'll jump a bit. So yeah, that is how the game will feel. We have kind of very briefly prepared some characters, and we are going to kind of like make them in depth now. The basic world that we are kind of playing in, we had a very, very quick discussion about it. We didn't want to plan too much ahead of time, but I should have got my notes for what the setting was up beforehand, and I forgot. But humanity has spread out into space. I'm making this up as I talk. Feel free to cut across any of my other players. Humanity has spread across into space, and in doing so has discovered a big, very ancient and mysterious artifact. Potentially somewhere on the moons or in the asteroid belt of Saturn is a big flower. And that flower is slowly opening up. And in doing so has caused quite the kerfuffle between several different factions. And we are essentially separated into a very large empire. I think I said from Mars, which are coming to try and take the flower from us, a small-time colonists living on the Belt of Saturn. There will be some intrigue in terms of like infighting on the two sides and what that means. And yeah, we're going to play out. We don't have too much planned ahead of time. That's kind of the point. It's GMless and we're making things up as we go. Anything from my fellow players that wish to add on to that before we make characters?
Nothing from me.
So it's sort of the conceit of the game that we lose the war, right?
Yes.
That's the game.
Yes,
I'm
we
so
are.
hyped.
Towards the end of this, we will lose. We are exploring how that feels for our individual characters as we go through things. There is some screenshots of pictures of the individual characters with their names and pronouns on the screen right now. However, we haven't necessarily got our stats and stuff. Some people have. We are going to start doing them now. So, in this game, there are a bunch of stats. War, mech, skill are our three main stats, and then also a bond we have with each other. As we are making these stats, we pick a number between 1 and 6, which I'll read from the book straight up. In this game, stats are a number 1 to 6 based on your emotional attachments, where 6 represents the strongest positive feelings and 1 represents the strongest negative feelings, with 3 or 4 representing neutral and ambivalent or conflicted feelings. So we are going to give a number 1 to 6 to each of our stats, which is war, mech, skill, and then our bonds based on each other's characters. And then we're going to kind of explain why we feel that way about those things. We can use the same number twice. So you can put a 6 in war and a 6 in a bond with someone else, but you can't make it 6 all the way down. Or you could put 6 in war and 6 in mech, but you couldn't then use 6 elsewhere. For example, if anyone has their stats done or wants to talk about why they've picked their stats for their character, feel free.
Sure, I can. Is this where I introduce my character? I suppose it makes sense to do that.
Yeah, feel free to introduce your character as you go.
Cool. So my character is Tiberius Slade, most known to most as Bug. His pronouns are he, him. He, as you can see in the picture, has extremely ginger hair, and what he hopes is designer stubble. He's quite chubby and baby-faced. His mech is the Strix. It is an owl. It is small for a mech, but still much bigger than a person. And as for stats, he has a 6 in war. He is really, truly committed to the war. My pull for this character has mostly been Biscuit from Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans. So he's fully committed to the cause. His stat with mech is 3. He's not the strongest of all the pilots. And like piloting isn't his main thing. He's a scout and field medic. That's kind of his deal. And his relationship to his skill is 5. He is good at what he does and enjoys it.
Okay. I've just finished my main stats, so I'll go over them now. Hi, my character is Saint Green. He, him pronouns. It's the one in the bottom right on the thing. I describe my look as like Roman Reigns was in a clamp anime, which is 2 very specific polls that might not make sense to everyone. But I thought of it this morning and I was like, well, that works. I haven't quite decided necessarily on what my mech looks like and what it feels like. I imagine the Saint pilots a very generic kind of soldier mech, or potentially a upgraded like worker mech. I'm a big fan of like the quote unquote grunt mechs in mech animes. I typically really like the designs of them. I'm currently looking at like 5 grazes on my desk from Iron-Blooded Orphans, so it's probably going to look like that. And my skill is I am a calming voice and stoic attitude. My kind of pull for this character is someone who has been in the war for a while and is kind of grown, not bored is the wrong word to use, but grown used to it in a way. My kind of influences are Chorobon from Gundam Wing, Ramba Rao from like original Gundam, probably more based on like the origin kind of feel, and Chiroko Kyuve from Armored Trooped Vote Arms, which I said in the absolute wrong accent. Don't know what happened there. As people who, just kind of are going with the flow and doing what they feel is necessary without actually having goals beyond the exact moment. They are someone that still gets up in the morning and puts on their uniform, but probably doesn't do the top 2 buttons anymore. And yeah, that's me. I'm currently working on my bonds.
Okay. I can go next. If that works.
Yeah.
I'm playing Pirouette Lautrec. He uses she, her pronouns. My initial, pitch for her was patriotic ace pilot who is secretly sad. My mech is the Duke Phosphorescent, who is very big, very red and golden blue, looks just huge, covered in missiles. And I love the Duke Phosphorescent. My mech stat is 6. I love it. I'm pretty good at it. My war stat is 5. I know what I'm doing. Having a great time. And my skill stat is 2. And my skill is like army politics, playing the game, talking to generals, talking to politicians. And just like I'm Pirouette is basically the person who handles the higher ups when they come to visit. But the thing is, she hates it, but she's good at it. What a shame. And yeah, I haven't quite got buns yet. We'll see in a sec.
Okay. Seems I'm last on the line. My character is Jackie Seychelle. She, they pronouns. Her main basis is she's. Well, to put it bluntly, I don't think she cares for the war that much. This is why her war stat is 2. She is in her late teens, kind of like a new upstart, the new mech pilot on the scene, but she's very talented at it. That's why her mech skill is 6. Her mech is the 3 question marks, which is basically if you've seen the Zeta Zaku from Gundam Double Zeta, or if you ever fucked around with Gunpla and made that kind of thing, I think that is basically what their mech is. That's the main reference. And they're, as you can tell, they're kind of like a mechanic. They're really good at fixing things, cobbling together things. And the main inspiration for this character is, have you seen a Gundam show? They're the protagonist. They're probably going to get their life ruined. They're probably going to develop PTSD. No one is going to, or at least it doesn't seem like anyone is going to offer the emotional support she actually needs. But at least, I don't know, maybe she'll ram a ship into a space fascist. I don't know.
Cool. So I don't know if I read off my stats, but I have a 3 in war. I'm very ambivalent towards it. A 6 in mech. I think I'm someone that enjoys piloting. My mech and probably enjoys maybe more so tinkering around with it. And my skill is 5. I have put my bonds in with people. I think I need to work on my one bug potentially. But I've given a 4 with them. I currently have, they still have a chance to get out. as my bond with Bug, and I've put a 4. I've given a 6 with Jackie. They could be doing so much more if they were not here. And a 2 with Pirouette, if they are too involved in everything. We spoke very briefly beforehand. I imagine that out of all the characters, Pirouette and Saint probably have the longest standing knowing each other. And I like the idea that Saint is very civil towards Pirouette, but like deep down has a lot of resentment for stuff. Yeah, that's my bonds. If anyone else has theirs, I might change mine with Bugs as we go.
I'm just putting mine in now. Maybe we should actually talk, Lee, about bonds between Bug and Saint, because I'm not quite sure. But my bond with Jackie, I've put at 4. Feeling broadly positive. I think it's broadly like they're new, they have a lot of potential, and they seem chill. Bond with Pirouette is 6. Pirouette is just the coolest. She is my idol. And so, Saint, how do we relate?
What do we think is Bug's kind of outward persona? I guess we'll see that more as we play, but
he's a sweet cinnamon roll. He does his best to be like warm and kind and friendly to everybody. He's quite determined within himself to not let war and like the knowledge that he's going to lose friends be a reason to not make them.
Right. I have adjusted mine slightly based on that. They still have a chance to get out if they opened their eyes. I imagine that Saint probably not hostile, but not exactly kind to Bug. Very dismissive.
Okay. I think I've put mine at 3. I don't think Bug dislikes anyone. He's just not that kind of guy. But I think he feels kind of like he notices how Saint treats him. He is not a fool, and I think he just thinks that Saint is a bit too cynical and could use to be a little bit more committed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. If we wanted to kind of pull on a Iron-Blooded Orphans reference, I realize not everyone is going to understand that reference, but it's Rhino Clouds. Well, I guess Saint would be very similar to Akihiro.
Right, yeah, okay.
Maybe not quite as jovial, but...
not quite as jovial.
Which, again, I answered the reference, unfortunately. Yeah, so... did everyone read off their bonds, or is there still someone to do?
I still got the bonds. Yeah, I have decided. I think my bond with Bug is at a 5. I think it's the type of relationship where it's like, we're the youngest people here. You know what I mean? It's like if you've ever had to, I don't know, like as a club or something or whatever, or like a camp, just like, we're closest, so why not hang out? But it is still a 5 because I do think they could probably shoot the shit, stuff like that. My bond with Saint is at a 6 because I think Saint is probably grown to be a very important mentor figure. I would, you're the bride to my Amuro, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that, or more like the bride to my Judo, now that I think about it, in terms of like what each character does.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. And my bond with Pirouette is at a 3 because it's sort of like I don't know all the sorry politics. I don't understand what you're talking about. But it's like I don't hate you, it's just like I don't know what the hell you're talking about half the time. Those are the bonds, yes.
Then just me to finish off.
Yeah.
Never be someone's bride. Thank you, Loose Threads. I agree.
For the record, I'm currently on episode 38 of Mobile Suit Gundam, the first time watching it. And if anything happens to Bright, I will ruin everything in the world because he's perfect.
So without getting into spoilers of Gundam too much, the kind of attitudes that Loose Threads has versus the attitudes that you currently have, Vivian, is everybody's arc on Bright.
Oh no!
I mean, you might feel differently if you get to Double Zeta and beyond, obviously, but yeah, I definitely came out of Mobile Suit Gundam being like, Bright's the best character in the show, and then there's a moment in Double Zeta where you're kind of like, yeah, you deserve.
Yeah. Welcome to our Gundam podcast.
Sorry, I will try not to make too many.
No worries. I get it.
It is the nature of the beast. Anyway, yeah. Sorry, Vivian. Bonds. Go. Apologies.
Okay. My bond with Bug is a 5. Bug's great. I'm like, specific pull is BoJack Horseman season 2. What Kelsey's relationship with Todd, of just like, this is the only person who can cheer me up in this thing that is otherwise ruining my life. And so she's just like, yes, Bug, amazing, perfect. Cheer me up, please. Pirouette hates Saint Green, but doesn't. Pirouette thinks that Saint will drag all of us down with him if we let him, and I don't plan on letting him. And relationship with Jackie is a 3. So I'm like, kind of new. There's been so many new pilots we've had. It's not worth it building up too much of a relationship with one.
Interesting.
And yeah,
Okay.
that's Pirouette.
So I believe that is everyone's characters done and explained. It's going to be an interesting mix, I feel like. I'm excited to get them all. Yeah, we definitely have a. I mentioned in the in our Discord right before or last night, that we have a very we've kind of automatically gone into typical roles in a Gundam show, of the Gundam protagonist, their closest kind of emotional partner in this, and then the two conflicting parental / guardian figures, and I feel like now that we have our bonds out and we have our characters out, it also kind of subverts that in a way I really like. With Pirouette, who I definitely would have pictured more as a positive kind of force, potentially coming off more negative than I originally imagined, which is great. Also, I find it hilarious, Vivian. We both put our characters smoking.
Let's get those smoke break.
Yeah.
scenes with our terrible relationship.
Mm-hmm. And I imagine we're people who are very civil towards each other.
Oh,
In
absolutely.
meetings and such, but yeah. So, okay. That is our characters done. I will explain how the game works. Maybe we'll get a quick scene in before our first break. So the way the game works is we are going to play out a number of scenes. Each round we will do. Each of us will set a scene. We will play out that scene, and then we will roll a move. We can go into a scene knowing what move we want to roll, or we can go into a scene and decide that move as we go. We will roll a dice based on the move we pick, and then there is some very small maths which will describe the outcome. And the outcomes will normally have something to do with, on the very bottom of the character sheets, we have 2 destiny tracks, resolve and disillusionment. Normally in a game, this is where we'd say, oh, we'll play to, the 3rd dot on the track or the 5th dot. When that track fills to a certain point, something happens to our character. Depending on what track we fill. We aren't setting a number right now. Basically, when we come in for like our 3rd hour, we will probably go, oh, we're going to play till this dot. I didn't want to be like, hey, we're going to play till dot 5, and then it gets to 3 hours and we are at dot 1 because we've just played out scenes too hard and such. So yeah, I decided we'll decide that as we go. I also don't want someone to like potentially lose a character an hour and a half into the game and kind of be stuck. So yeah, we'll decide that as we go. We're probably going to end up somewhere middling to the end. I also know what I'm about as someone who's like, hey, we'll play a quick 3-hour game, and then it's 2 weeks later and we're still playing. So I know what happens with this group. So yeah, we will each set a scene, and then at the end of the round, we will jump forward in time. That it could be the next day, the next month, the next week, the next year. And then we will do another round, and we will all pick scenes again. And we do that until we reach the end of the game, until our tracks are filled. Very briefly running through the moves. And the moves all relate to a particular stat that we have. So the first one is attack the enemy, where we will roll the stat that's most relevant to it. That could be interesting. Be a figurehead, which is where we use our war stat. Work with your mech, which was where you roll mech. Fraternize. Fraternize. I can speak. Fraternize, which is where you'll roll your bond with whichever character you are in a scene with. And train your skill, which is where you work on your particular skill and you roll on that. As we do these moves, as we take breaks and jump forward in time, we have the option to change our stats around. So currently, for example, my war is currently 3 by the end of the game. My war could be 6. I could have decided I've grown more positive towards the war. Or it could be 1 and I have grown to really despise it. Same with character bonds. Through the war, my relationship with Pirouette could greatly increase. My relationship with Bug could greatly decrease, or the other way around. I mean, I can't greatly decrease on Pirouette. I'm very low already. But yeah, that is how the game will play. We will see how many scenes we get in as we go. This is a game that features. We're going to be talking about war. We're going to be talking about violence in a particular way. So if anyone watching this wants to avoid that kind of thing for 9:30 on a Saturday morning, I can completely respect that. I just want to give you a heads up ahead of time. Although I don't expect we're going to get too deep on certain things, we do want this to kind of feel like a Saturday morning cartoon show in a way. But one that thinks it's for grown-ups. But yeah, we have lines and veils and an X card in play, so safety for the players is always paramount. We wish to ensure we are being safe at all times. But yeah, other than that, I think we're good to begin. I need to pick my Mac. I am learning to spell.
Aren't we all learning to spell?
My Mac is the Red Robin. It is a upgraded ice mining Mac. It is designed to go out and pick ice and take ice off asteroids and such to bring back to the colony. However, it has been upgraded to do a fight. Yeah, there we go. That's my Mac. I'm sticking with the birds theme. I like birds for Mac names. So yeah, does anyone have a particular scene we wanted to start with? Narratively, I think if this is an anime, this is after the first kind of arc. We have all got together. We have all kind of got to know each other very briefly, at least. Yeah, we are. So yeah, if anyone has a particular scene they would like to do, if not, I have one in mind. I do like the idea of starting off with a scene with all. And I figured the way that is we are preparing to launch a defense against our enemy. They are coming in for an attack, and we are kind of preparing to defend ourselves. And before we actually get started on that, I should probably ask: are we in a static location, or are we going to be in a moving ship? Do we think? I'm happy with starting in like a static location, at least.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
And we can potentially move out. We could potentially in 2 hours be like, oh, we're all going to get on a ship and we're going to. But I like the idea of starting off. Maybe we are defending our kind of small area. Somewhere close to the front lines. We have this small town that maybe it's where Jackie and potentially Bugger from and Pirouette and Saint have recently been stationed there, and it's attack. And we're kind of preparing for another fight. And I feel like this is going to end in me rolling the attack the enemy to determine what happens. And yeah, I think this is everyone kind of like, we know the attack is coming with a big countdown timer above like the mech hangar door, and we're all hanging out in uniforms and such, getting ready for that attack. We're all in our spacesuits or environment suits, kind of waiting for the confirmation to go. And yeah, I feel like everyone being there would make sense, unless anyone decides they don't want to be there.
I think Bug's there.
Pirouette's there.
Yeah. We're all there, it seems.
And I think I want to bring this in maybe on Saint is kind of telling Jackie off. Not telling off, but being very like, pat down, make sure this is done, make sure you've got your things on, like you've pressed the button to like decompress the suit. And running through like procedures and such, asking questions, so when you first get in, what's the first thing you check in your cockpit? And running through those types of questions. And then kind of taking a moment to ask Jackie, are you ready for this?
Why would I not be? Only thing they do that really weird motion that I never see in real life, but I do see in anime, where it's just like that nose rubbing motion that all the cocky anime young kids do.
Yeah. I don't mean, are you ready to go out there and fight? I mean, are you ready to go out there and not win?
Not win? Maybe.
And I think kind of giving a look out over to Pirouette and Bug, and without trying to catch their attention, but kind of like, you know, probably does in some way catch their attention, but trying not to. Just saying, we don't win every time we go out there. I imagine that up until this point in the anime, we've won every fight. Yeah, I think Saint says we don't always come back smiling and victorious. Sometimes we have to accept our losses. I need to make sure you're ready to accept your losses.
I think this is the point where Bug comes over and has overheard some of this and is like, come on, man. They're like, they're new. They're not 5.
And Peria is just sort of in the background, just talking to a lot of people, making sure that everything's like in order. I just like occasionally it's like glancing over. Just feel like, oh, for fuck's sake, not again. But I'm like, I'm too busy for this. I'm too busy.
Looks kind of at Zane, kind of like looks to Bug, and says, I'm just making sure that we have realistic mindsets as we go into this. Eventually, a loss is coming our way. And I want to make sure we aren't just going to fall apart the minute that happens. He says we, he means Jackie.
I think like this is probably the first time in the anime that we've seen Bug look a little bit tired. And Bug says, yeah, man, we lose people all the time. We've not lost a fight for a while, but every time we go out, I come back with a bunch of injured people and a bunch of corpses. And that is just how it is. It's a war. We know what war is. I just have to believe every time that this is gonna be worth it in the end, and I have to believe that we'll win. Even if we don't always, I have to believe.
I think Saint kind of like brists a little bit at that. Probably looks directly at Pirouette. And shouts, do we win every time?
No, of course we don't win every time, Saint. You know this.
Do you believe we'll win every time?
I think we can win every time.
Bug looks triumphant.
Okay, Jackie, ignore him. Like, don't
Nods.
don't let him get to you. Don't let him get in your head. Walks off, clipboard, banner.
Jesus Christ.
Saint kind of like, I imagine we're kind of approaching countdown, getting ready. Stuck here with a bunch of idealists.
Wow. I think Bug's like, yeah, what of it?
Idealists make people believe in their ideals. And I think that can be just as dangerous as what's out there.
Someone's got to keep spirits up around here.
I think they kind of like have a little bit of a smirk at that, and say, "What? Am I not cheery enough for you both?"
I think this is probably the point where Bug just kind of snorts and goes off to check that he's got enough medical supplies loaded into Strix. Just like, whatever, man.
Parrot reappears with a different clipboard, being like, Saint, get in your Mac. Jackie, get ready to deploy. Time's running out. We're gonna do it. We're gonna defend this. That's the only thing that we can believe in right now, and that's the only thing that we should believe in, is that we're gonna win this battle, and that sometimes what happens.
I think Saint kind of like gives a little nod to Pirouette, and as they're walking out, looks back to Jackie and says, "We will survive this battle. That's what we need to aim for." And then goes to get in their mech.
And I think
their
Pirouette
pre-flight
just,
checks.
sorry,
No, go on,
Pirouette just sort of shouts over, being like, "Oh, and Saint, do up your buttons. You're not up to standard."
Aggressive buttoning. Yeah. Unless anyone has anything to add, I think that's scene.
Sounds like it.
Cool. So, we play out the scene. When you feel you've reached a place where the outcome is uncertain and should be determined by a move, don't be afraid to cut it. We're going to go there. Then, roll the move that corresponds to the uncertain outcome. Roll a 6-sided die, and we compare the stat we're using to the result. Subtract smaller from bigger to determine your outcome. And then we have a small list of outcomes. I'll read off what we get from that. So I think this is the kind of move around this is basically the actual battle. After that conversation. So I'm going to roll attack the enemy. I think the start. I'm going to start off difficult here. I think I'm going to roll my bond with Jackie.
Oh shit. Okay.
Oh no! Do I want to do that actually? No. I'll roll mech actually. That seems like an incredibly. I realize if I do that, I'm immediately starting as a failure. I don't necessarily want to do that. So I'll go with my war. Yeah, war. Middle. We'll start middling. So I roll a d6, badoop, which is a 6. So 6 minus 3 is 3. I can do very basic maths. Beyond that, we'll be here for a while. Which is a grim success. You just barely don't lose. What was the cost? What have you learned? So yeah, we don't win, but we don't lose either. Mark 1 resolve or delusionment, whichever fits narratively. I am actually going to mark a resolve. I believe that Saint went into that thinking, we've had a couple of wins, we're going to have a loss come up soon. Hi, Halcyon. We're going to have a loss come up soon, and thought this was going to be it. And then it kind of ends in essentially a stalemate. We probably take heavy losses on our side. Like, machines are getting very damaged, but the other side kind of faces the same thing. I think perhaps Saint kind of underestimates just how scrappy we can be. Yeah, I think that's where that kind of ends out. Who would like to do a scene next?
I'm trying to
I-
think of one. Whoever that was, go.
It was I. I was thinking of doing the be a figurehead move because I love to participate in war propaganda.
Yeah, sounds good.
And I think it's just another this time that we sort of do a fair amount. Sort of we have some people coming around, like a bunch of film cameras, just to like get some stuff up. And it's just very, yeah, I think it's in the hangar, but like everyone's in like full dress uniform instead of their regular thing. I don't know if anyone else wants to join the propaganda film, but feel free.
I think Bug tends to get recruited to any propaganda films that Pirouette's in because everyone knows that he gets all starry-eyed around her, and
Jesus
it's kind of a good look.
I don't know how relevant to the scene Saint will be, but I definitely think Saint comes along because they feel like they have to as a kind of senior soldier, but actually they just have nothing better to do and they'd rather be around. But they will never admit that.
Is Jackie here for propaganda?
Maybe. I don't know, because it's like I don't know if they would want to advertise their like 18-year-old mech pilot is the thing. That just doesn't seem like good PR to me.
Okay, so Berg and Pirouette. I think this is maybe mech working on the mech. And the Duke Phosphorescent is very good for propaganda purposes because it's sort of designed to look very impressive as much as just be a fighting robot.
There's not much focus on Strix because like there's the Duke Phosphorescent looking magnificent, and then there's this tiny owl.
And it's that sort of
I like the idea of painting the Duke Phosphorescent against things like Strix and like against the Red Robin, which probably look very small and like, you know, you're kind of painting the look, our future so bright kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's just mostly Parrot just talking. It's been like the Lotus Flare is something brand new. It's something that's going to change the course of human history, because that's what we can tell. And we know that we're fighting and we're doing everything we can to fight to bring it under our control and put it to good use. You know, do the relevant research, destroy if needed. And we have the best scientists working on everything. And we have the incredible engineering work, as we do with the Duke here. And we are working as hard as we can. And we just need all the support we can get to... What's that side called? Do we have a name?
I don't think I ever gave it a proper name. Feel free to make it up. Anybody can feel free to say it and it will become canon.
It's a dangerous thing to hand to us.
I think I just, in the brief I wrote, I just called it the Saturn colonists because we're colonists currently living on Saturn.
We decide the tone of the show of it, isn't it? Are we going to make this something that sounds cool, or are we going to make it a pun?
Mm, moral dilemma.
It's an existential question, really.
Very, very. For a very straight down the middle name, something like the Republic of Saturn is very, very sci-fi.
I'm good with something like that.
Yeah.
So very much fits in the language of this genre of media.
Saturnalia is possibly a little bit more of a party zone than, than this crew is, Halcyon.
Saturnalia is what this group calls themselves after they've won, which, as we know, is not going to happen. But when they're able to afford nicer uniforms.
And so we need all the help for the defense of the Republic of Saturn and to retain command of the Lotus of Rare, which is perhaps the biggest battle we fought so far as a colony. And something like that. It's a big speech, big fancy robot. It's very shiny.
Occasional cuts to Bug's face doing the face that Steven Universe does when he's excited.
Jesus. Steven's universe.
I do think that Bug walked into this anime from Steven Universe and is about to get the shock of his life.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Anything else, or should I roll?
Feel free to roll.
Yeah, I have a
We
5
can
in
potentially.
war.
Are you rolling watch then? Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
So let's see how this goes.
Oh.
So that's a 1. So that's a failure.
Whoa.
0 to 1 failure. You do not accomplish your goal in a setback. What have you lost?
Specifically
not
for
You're
work
not
with your-
convincing. Not even to yourself. Everyone marks disillusionment.
Epic.
Cool.
Good start.
Cool.
Boop.
Start.
Everyone marked disillusionment. Wow.
Yeah. Everyone is affected by your cringe propaganda.
I think that's what maybe like to round the scene out. I think maybe if Satan is like hanging around in the background, is just very like this is absolute rubbish. Whether that's caught on film or not, but yeah, Satan kind of having a moment where they want to say this is rubbish. Like, what's going to happen is that 6 months they're going to roll out the next one, and the next one, and the next one.
In terms of cringe propaganda, my first thought is if you've ever seen the very bizarre like Indian animated shorts depicting Modi beating the shit out of Xi Jinping. This is real.
That's wild.
kind of the vibe.
Yeah.
It's like everyone who looks at it knows it's cringe.
My God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If I do find it, I will link it in the Twitch chat.
Thanks, Halcyon.
Is there anything else anyone wants to add into that scene? Like, what is the general reaction then to, like, how does Bug feel about that?
So what you see directly after when the camera's shut off is Bug kind of being really encouraging to Pirouette, like, hey, you did great, and kind of shiny Steven Universe eyes and all of that. And then kind of everyone wanders off to their own role, and I think you just get a quick shot of Bug zipping up a body bag an hour or so later and kind of looking at his hands and being like, Hmm.
Yeah. How does Pirouette feel once things don't end out the way that they kind of wanted them to?
Yeah, I think the disillusionment here is like it's just her realizing that the tone the next day is just worse, actively worse, and it's just they're like, oh, this is because of that, and it's just like, oh, oh no, oh god, and again, I think it's just quite a sort of subtle shot of her just like sort of just like walking around the hangar and just like maybe seeing someone whisper or like come silent when she comes close or something.
Oh.
Like, God
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
damn it.
I feel like maybe there is a like element amongst like other people that maybe we don't know the names of and such, but like potentially a little bit of like people being like, oh, why is her mech so special? Why is it,
Has there
which we
been
might-
like a little side shot of the 3 question marks, which compared to the Duke phosphorescent is kind of a mess?
It absolutely
Mm.
is a mess. Maybe there was a shot of that, but I don't. Like I said, I don't know why they would want to show that off, but maybe they do. Who knows?
Yeah,
Mhm.
like maybe someone on the camera crew is also anti-war, and like it got in shot, and they just decided to leave it in.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah. So I think now's a good time for a very quick break. And when we come back, we'll do the next 2 scenes, and then that'll be the end of the round, and we will figure out where to pick up from that. But just to very briefly kind of run down. Hi, my destiny is currently 1 resolve and 1 disillusionment.
You think everyone else is just 1 disillusionment at the moment?
Yep.
Yes. Yes. So, we'll take a very quick 5-minute break. Probably come back about 10 past. Everyone should use this as an opportunity to get up, stretch your legs, refill water if you need to, recycle fluids, as I normally say. And yeah, we will see you in 5 minutes. Stream. Have a good break.
See ya.
Cool. Hi, welcome back. Hi, I hope everyone got up and did some stretching. Stood in the sunlight for 2 minutes if needed be. And yeah, welcome back to our game of Dusk to Midnight by Riley Raffle. As a reminder, you can find this and many of other Riley's games on metagame.itch.io. I would highly recommend people go and do that. This is the continuation for the Roll Plus Bond second anniversary stream. During this weekend, we are celebrating our little community in the stream and also raising money for the Native American Rights Fund. You can find out more about what they do and their mission over at narf.org and help us continue to surpass our fundraising goal over on tiltify.org/@rollplusbond or donate.rollplusbond.com. Thank you for Marin for hitting that up in the chat. I was meant to say this before, but if anyone does donate during the stream and leaves a little message, please tell me what your favorite giant robot is. I will happily argue with you about it after the next break. Anyway, back to the game. I am joined by Clouds, who is
Hello.
playing Tiberius Bug Slade. Tia, who is playing Jackie Seychelles.
Hello.
Vivian, who is playing Pirouette Lautrec.
Hello.
And hi, my name is Lee. I am playing Saint Green. Hello. Previously, we had just started our game where we had got into a fight with our enemy. I believe we have decided we are the Republic of Saturn and our enemy. And the fight kind of ended in a stalemate, which ended up in me getting a resolve point because I gained a little bit more faith in my team than I had previously. Not my team. I'm not in charge. I'm just here. After that, Pirouette had made essentially a bit of propaganda. That did not go so as well. And we all marked a disillusionment. Yeah, so we still have scenes to be set by Clouds and Tia. And then that'll mark the end of this round, and we'll go into the next round stuff. But yeah, until then, either of you two have a scene you would like to set?
I've got an idea. Yeah, it's a pretty simple one. I know which move it's going to be. It's work with your mech when you work on or communicate with your mech. Roll mech.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what happened was that the 3 question marks got pretty beaten up during the fight. Maybe lost an arm. Who knows? It was a stalemate, so it wasn't that bad, as bad as it could have been. And but I don't know if anyone would, if anyone wants to chill while I fix my mech. This old rust bucket, which just cobbled together parts. Just a lot of parts. But yeah, I think that's kind of the basic gist of it. But I don't know, like, is anyone else here like a mech enthusiast? I think that would be the most, like, the factor if anyone wants to participate.
Bug is not.
Bug is not a mech person.
I think Saint is, so I think Saint would be there.
Yeah. Just think of the fact that this mech is like that. Uppercase.
I think Saint finds it kind of interesting and fascinating. So my bond with Jackie is they could be doing so much more if they weren't here. And I feel like is exactly centered around that fact, around the 3 question marks. Saint feels like Jackie could be off inventing the next. I tried to think of a good relevant technology. I realize it's all digital and none of it's good, so I don't want to give any examples. But yeah, like Jackie could be designing the next space stations, could be designing a mech that isn't used for war. Saint obviously has no ideas how Jackie feels about their work.
Yeah, I'm thinking of. I don't know if this comparison is quite right, but I'm getting the vibe. It's like how, Kalashnikov. She could invent the next Twitter. No, that's using your powers for evil. No. But no, yeah, just kind of like, yeah, or you could be working on space stations, agriculture, or something, but you are making machines of death that will trample your enemies. But, sometimes robots are cool. Sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's, chicks dig giant robots. I don't know if this is a way for her to get a girlfriend. Probably not. But yeah, honestly, it sounds like we kind of summed it up pretty well so far. I think I could roll for it already. I don't think there's much more to expand on in that scene. It's more like a very casual scene, the type that doesn't really take up even more than a minute in the show.
Yeah,
basically.
I mean, we might get something coming out of it based on the roll.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. So D6. Oh, okay. A 2. Okay, and my mech is 6, so that is a 4, which is, let me remember, a success.
Hey.
So beat the odds and manage victory. What have you gained? Your mech reveals something to you. Shift your mech 1 point in either direction right now and mark resolve. I think, okay, first I'm going to take care of the mechanical stuff, and I think I'm going to shift it down to 5. Let me just click that. 5. Because that does get my chances a little bit better in those cases. Gonna mark the resolve. But what my mech reveals to me, that's interesting. I'm trying to think, and is it like the way it's worded sounds like the mech has some kind of a soul or something, which I guess could be interesting, but I don't know how that is conveyed. Is it like a psychic connection with the mech? Like, oh, there's something more to this than I thought.
So, this is your scene, so obviously, like, if you can do this however you like, but I do like the idea of, if Saint is around, perhaps is talking about, the way that Jackie is with her mech. My mech stack is 6, and I imagine that is more like I'm just naturally like very good at doing mech stuff. It just comes to me naturally, but like I see it as work. In that way. I see what I'm doing as or very automatic, and I'm just doing what needs be, whereas I imagine maybe Jackie's a bit more personal with it.
Yeah, I think it's like it's not like, oh, I got this from a factory or whatever. It's like just, I made this myself. This is my creation. I cobbled it together from like a junkyard. So in that sense, it is a bit like the Magus, except it's all a junkyard and not just I found a mech and then I put my car on it.
Yeah. Like I think I realized again, I'm pulling from another piece of media, so apologies, but are you familiar with Ghost in the Shell standalone complex?
I have not watched it past the first episode.
Okay, that's fine. I will explain very, very briefly. There's a bit later on in the season where there is a confrontation between 2 characters where the Tachikomas, who doesn't love a Tachikoma, they're doing maintenance, and it's revealed that one of the characters is kind of giving one of the Tachigomas like more preference than the others, and kind of giving it special treatment. And the term used in the series, which has weird implications, is natural oil, specifically his oil. But I do like the idea that perhaps Saint is kind of like, why are you being so very specific with your mech in this way? And maybe feels like if you were to go on, like, maybe the mech has a soul. Saint is like, don't be silly, like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mechs aren't people.
Yeah.
Only people are people.
That's a very Saint thing to think.
The mech is a tool that we are attached to, that we have to use to achieve the goal. I don't know what happens when I come out the mech. I don't know what happens when I go back in. You know.
Mhm.
Well, I do know what happens when I go back in. Fight. But again, this is your scene, so
Yeah, but yeah, I think we've settled it. I think we have a good idea here.
yeah. I like that. Yeah. Okay, cool. We're kind of we're hinting at the space magic new type of stuff very early on.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. So yeah, clouds.
I am going to do a scene that probably results in rolling train my skill, and this is Bug in the med bay, doing his thing, treating people who have been wounded in action. I think it's just kind of it's possibly to some extent a character scene where he's kind of being all cheerful and kind and warm to people, and like trying to make them feel mentally a bit better as well as physically better. I don't know that it's a particularly long scene, and I think I might just roll and see what happens that way. So let's roll.
Mhm.
That's a 1, and my skill is, I think, 5. What's my skill? My skill is 5, so that's a 4, which is also a success, isn't it? You make some kind of breakthrough. Is anyone else in the scene?
This is so train your skill, and your skill is double check. Sorry, I accidentally had the audio coming through twice there for a second.
Oh
so.
no. Yeah, my skill is 5, and I rolled a 1.
Could this do any of the other characters have a preference to be in this scene?
Not really for this scene.
Like I am happy to jump in here if no one else does, but
I can be just leaning into the bright thing, but I could have like done that, just over exerted myself. I was stayed up for like 48 hours trying to like make everything work, and then just sort of collapsed maybe.
Oh no. Okay. What do we think this looks like? The outcome here is scroll. Is you make some kind of breakthrough. So like, is this? Do we think, given that I'm treating you here, is this a breakthrough, a breakthrough into kind of in Pirouette's attitude in some way? Or is it, have I just found a cool new type of caffeine?
I don't know. We could have another weird mech cell thing in which you find something else out about that if you're not leaning into that.
Yeah, or maybe like you're in the room, because the thing I was vaguely thinking is in the combat scene that we kind of didn't have, but we established had happened. We were up against a new type of enemy, and one of the other people that Bug is working on at the same time had been wounded by that type of enemy, and under the watchful gaze of Pirouette, he finally figures out how to treat this type of wound.
I like that.
And gets very, very excited. And it's like, hey, Pirouette, look, I fixed it.
Oh, incredible. That's perfect. It's going to help so much.
Beams at the praise. Praise from Pirouette is all the Bug craves, truly. I'm going to shift my skill down a little bit narratively, because this is a new thing and Bug is very much still learning, but also it gives me better chances to succeed at my rolls.
Something I really like about this game, that, and depending on how much time we have when we finish, I might get more into this. It definitely asks you to like make your character and then say, okay, do all the things your character doesn't like. Like, you get better stats if you engage with your worse, potentially. Like, skill. Like, it's very hard to min-max in a good way. But yeah, I like that. I like Bug kind of having a moment with their hero, and yeah, I think what kind of like, because that's the last scene here, I think we kind of like, that's the end of the narrative end we see of this arc. Maybe what happens next in the next couple of episodes, that you, the audience, don't get to see, is we overcome this battle in a way. Or maybe we're pushed further back. I don't think anyone on the crew has a mood hat, Halcyon. We didn't want to chomp too much on certain other flavors. But yeah. Did you want to add anything else to that scene? Sorry, Clouds.
No, I think it's nice to kind of end our round on sort of what is probably presented in the anime as a note of hope, like a thing that will get us through to set us up for the tragic ending of this game.
Yes, yeah, it is definitely like, it ends on like, the episode ends on Bug kind of running in and being like, "Look what I did," and then the narrator does the next time on. And yeah, so that's the end of the round. After all pilots have framed one scene, the round is over. Before you start the next round, decide together. I can read and spell. How much time passes in between? It could be anywhere from hours to years. And then, if we feel like it's been enough time that our characters have changed, take a moment to describe which relationship has changed the most for each of your characters and why. And we shift a stat 1 point in either direction to reflect the change. So how much time do we think has passed?
I'm thinking like a couple of weeks, maybe.
I was thinking the same. Is there anyone who would rather anything different? Or are we all happy with a couple of weeks?
That's good.
Like, yeah, this big battle that we've been kind of having is over. We've moved on to the next kind of arc. Where do we think we're at? Are we still in this like small town area, or have we shifted somewhere bigger?
I think we've moved.
Yeah.
I like the idea of like a big rise in the action. So I do like the idea that maybe we've moved to potentially somewhere that's a bit closer to this big flower that we mentioned in the beginning. This giant monolithic flower that is slowly blooming. Maybe it's like bloomed a little bit more. And we kind of get that feeling that, something happens when it fully ticks. We don't know what.
I like the idea that at the end of every episode we get a new flower, a new petal unveils on the flower.
Yes.
Yes.
At least the ones the episodes that we're playing out, not every actual episode of the anime.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think that is definitely, yes, 100%. Very early Gundam shows typically ended with a like particular phrase, like original Gundam ends with, I think, something like "Who will survive?"
Yeah.
And Zeta Gundam ends with "You will see the tears of time." And I'm pretty sure this show would definitely end on something related to the flower, like the narrator's note. People who are more creative than me can feel free to come up with something. But yeah, I'm looking at my bonds. It's been a couple of weeks. We've kind of moved potentially somewhere where we are considered more, I guess, important to the Republic. Maybe, like Bug figured out like increasing their medical skill and like figured out this puzzle. And I imagine Jackie has, as Gundam protagonist, she has done a lot to help in that way. And been a Gundam protagonist.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm walking out. I'm going out every episode. What ikimasu and all that shit.
It's up to like you all. What do you think, if anything, has like changed about your character? Is any of the relationships you think you want to adjust?
I think I do want to adjust my bond with Saint to -1, so it's at 5 now.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to adjust my bond with Pirouette -1. I think that propaganda incident has like allowed a tiny bit of doubt to creep in.
Just listen. Sometimes the people you love post cringe.
Oh no. Conversely, I'm going to move my bond with Bug up to a 6.
Ooh.
Because that was the only thing that got me through that cringe moment. And then also, he did so well with the medical and is just a genius. He's perfect. He's the only thing keeping me going.
I am moving one down with Jackie. I believe the incident with like working on the mech has kind of left Saint a little bit like shaky on whether he trusts Jackie as much previously. I will be very interested if that goes back up to 6 by the end of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, new round. Is there anyone who has a particular scene in mind they wish to set? If not, again, I have one in mind.
Yeah.
I would like to fraternize with Pirouette. I like to imagine, which is a weird sentence to say. I would like to consider that we are. It's been a few weeks. We're probably on. Like if this is a 50 episode anime, we're probably on like 20 episodes, 20 to 23. And so we are kind of looking at us to have come in probably knowing each other beforehand, and everything that's happened in regards to this big fight with essentially meeting Jackie and Bug, I think Saint wants to kind of like, maybe after some kind of like officers meeting, if we move to this larger kind of city, take a moment with Pirouette, and get their opinion on things and ask genuinely, honestly, what do you think is going to happen next?
What's going to happen next is that we're going to have another battle. We're going to win that battle. And then there's going to be another battle after that. Same.
Very quickly, roughly how old is Bug?
He's in his early, maybe mid-20s. He's quite young.
Yeah. Like I was absolutely picturing Saint being about 30, which in anime terms means I have grey hair.
The prick keeper.
Yeah. Like for those that don't know, hilariously, if you ever watch Cowboy Bebop, Jet is 30. I physically am 31, and I'm like, you did me dirty. I don't look anything like Jet. But yeah. I think Saint must be like, they're kids out there. Are we really gonna just what? Making more of us?
Well, you know, what else are we going to do? What do you think? You've seen the flower. You know, it's right. It's true. This is brand new. This is something completely different. Have you ever seen the lotus, like, up close, Saint?
No.
Well, I think that explains a lot, because I've been there, and it's terrifying. You've never felt fear in the way that I felt when I saw that thing the first time. And that's why I'm fighting this war, and that's why I'm fighting this thing. And that's why I'm putting everything I have into this. I think
I like to
you
picture
could do
that
the same.
I like to picture that where we are, very, very much like in the background of the shot, you can see maybe not the lotus, but definitely the location of it. Like it's framed in that way. And Saint wants to say, I find it terrifying that something we found in a rock can make Pirouette Lautrec say she's terrified of it. And what did it speak to you? Did it offer cosmic imbalance? What about this large, this thing makes you so scared?
I cannot explain what it did. Saying that's the worst thing about it. We have basically no readings about it. A lot of the attempts to sort of study it have failed so far, and it's cosmic. It's huge. I mean, it's enormous. It's so big. I have no idea what it's doing, and neither does anyone else. Neither any of the highest up. I can't even imagine what the other side want to do with it, but we know what they've done before, and I think we Saint. You saw what happened when I tried to talk to people. I can't put these things into words. You saw that advert, whatever it was, film.
I think I'm going to use this as the opportunity to make them, and that will determine how I respond to that. So with Fraternize, I am rolling on my bond with And Pirouette, my bond is 2. So I roll. I roll a 1, so that's a 1.
Ooh.
So
Oh.
it does not go well. So that is a failure. I do not accomplish my goal here. And I'll set back. What have I lost? Nothing's changed in your relationship. You both mark disillusionment and can't shift your bond with each other until you do this move again and succeed. So yeah, we are both in a disillusionment. I think I definitely picture we're like on a balcony somewhere smoking this conversation.
Mhm.
And I think that Saint just kind of says, maybe that's why we're both here. You can talk a big game of what we're doing, but I'm not going to stop telling them that it's not always their battle. And then does the usual thing of trying to walk out of a conversation early so they have the last words.
What a jerk.
Pirouette sits there smoking and is silhouetted against the moon. I assume there's a big full moon happening.
Oh, absolutely.
And she's the sad theme plays.
Mm-hmm.
The very sad theme music plays.
I realized I did give our lovely host Morning a bunch of music, and I completely forgot to like make a list of to play at a certain time. So Morning, if there's anything you want, but don't feel obliged. Unless music has been playing this whole time and I'm just not aware of it. Yeah, I think that's scene. What a scene. I genuinely thought that was going to come out like positive in some way, that it was going to end in like, I was looking at the thing, I was like, oh, this is going to end in like, either I'm going to get on more with Pirouette or it's going to go down to 1. I was not expecting it to stay the same. And yeah, that is that scene. I sound very happy. We just marked disillusionment. I should not be so happy about it. Who would like to do a scene next?
I have one in mind if no one else does.
Go for it.
I would like to work on my mech. And I would like to do that with Jackie.
Hell yeah, let's work on Max.
So, Bug is good at fixing bodies, but not so great at fixing mechs. So it's basically, I think this is probably like quite late in the night, and Bug approaches Jackie like, I've been at this for hours. Please, can you help me?
Yeah, I think just like, yeah, sure. What do you need?
And I think we get, this is probably like the longest shot, definitely in like this part of the show that we've had of Strix.
Mm-hmm.
For as a reminder of people who are new, Strix is a mech shaped like an owl.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he says there's something wrong with her scanners and I can't figure it out.
Oh, yeah, I think they blurred off some like technical bullshit that might be the reason. Because I don't know technical terms, but I think Jackie does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is there are technobabble generators out there that we could potentially use, but
I don't. Yeah, just
imagine technobabble. Technobabble has occurred.
just your sprockets are in a twist. Why am I referencing that fucking TikTok? Anyways, yeah, I think they go down and presumably are. Yeah, I think probably they have like a good look at the mech, and it's like, well, there's your problem. Then it's like probably something's busted there, I would imagine. Like some gears are loose or something in that vein.
Yeah, that makes sense because the eyes haven't been moving the way I expected them to. Okay. See if I can fix that then. Hey, like, how are you doing?
Huh? Me? Yeah, kind of. I don't know. I don't know how I'm doing.
Sympathetic noises, sympathetic look.
Yeah. Just kind of looking at all the mechs, like, yeah, it's like all of this machinery, all intricate and all whatever, whatnot. And just like, yep, we're just using them to fight and probably fight some more. Like, shit, remember when these were worker robots? Not anymore.
Okay, I rolled a 5 and my mech skill is 3. So that's a 2, which is, I think,
that is a failure. No, that is a grim success. I
grim
apologize.
success.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which means you learn something new about your mech that it was hiding from you. Shift your mech one point in either direction and mark disillusionment. Okay, so marking disillusionment.
No, this is marking resolve.
Okay. I think. Sorry, Karen Lee.
No, go ahead.
I'm trying to work out whether this shifts my mech up or down. I think it probably shifts it down. I think possibly what happens here is that Bug digs up something that indicates that this mech used to be used for I'm not going to kind of go into it because I just don't really want to go there, but like for something really horrible that has caused a lot of harm historically. And that it just wasn't obvious because it's just an owl, right? It's an owl.
It's a friendly owl.
Why would it be doing that? And yeah, it's so like, and you know, he's a combat medic, so like he defends himself, but he doesn't do a whole lot of actual fighting unless he absolutely has to. So he's kind of like really taken aback by this capacity for destruction and harm that his mech has that he didn't know about it before. And he now wants to use it substantially less, which is unfortunate because he has to fly the mech in order to do his job.
Just kind of cutting to the bone there of the genre.
Make the subtext texts. It's what I do. That scene from me.
Cool. That was good. I like that. So yeah, Tia or Vivian, if either of you have a scene in mind you want to do.
I'm thinking like attack the enemy.
I was
cool.
also
Terms
thinking
of, like-
attack the enemy.
Oh,
I mean, we could do
I could do something else.
We can do 2 attack the enemies in the same round.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
stats
two
are
different-
different at least.
Yeah,
But but what I'm kind of thinking of is probably I think this is very much, bad guy of the week. Some fucking assholes trying to mess with the flower. And and probably Jackie, probably everyone who has a mech gets sent out to hopefully kick their ass, hopefully not die. Yeah, it's more like hopefully not die and maybe kick their ass. I had to think about it.
Is it the masked villain or a different one?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Is it the masked villain or a different one?
Oh, I think different one. This is like Just like, you know, kind of like new villain of the week. Who knows what their allegiance is. They're probably very silly. Still,
Yeah,
we haven't gotten over into horrible things yet. Quite
this
yet.
is that mid-level villain who's probably around for 3 episodes, does nothing, but everyone's going to talk about them for the rest of the anime as if they were very, very important.
They're very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I managed, Jackie Seychelle, ikimasu, and then, just kind of zooms along through the ship.
Yeah,
Maybe,
oh god, go ahead.
Maybe does a cool pose while flying. I don't know.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, while we're here,
Yes.
is there, like, narratively, is there a name or something we think the enemies call, like, the 3 question marks, and the Duke, Forest? I'm trying to start I can't say today. Like, if we go back to original Gundam, the original Gundam is the White Devil. Is there a kind of like nickname for that for the other side, we think? I think that's an interesting thing to...
I know exactly what it is. It's just that thing.
Very good. And what about the Duke? Does the Duke have like a particular, like, do you think the enemy forces have a name for it? Have a nickname?
I just watched the Big Zam episode. Sorry, I keep coming back to original, but it's what's on my mind. And yeah, I think like some big bastard. So I think it's just like when it appears, bad shit happens because it has very big guns.
I like that. Yeah, sorry. Carry on with your scene now. Apologies, I just wanted to ask that while we were...
No worries. I think that's fine. But yeah, I don't know, because the thing is that the outcome of the role kind of decides how the fight goes. So I don't want to like describe that. And it's like, oh, we do really sick moves, and then it's like, oh, it's a 1,
Yeah. Like, I'm happy to do the role, and then like I definitely think if this is going to be a somewhere.
You cut out.
Sorry, if this is going to be a big combat, Saint is definitely there.
I think it is. I think this is a war role, probably.
Yeah. Cool.
Like, technically I'm using my mech, but it's more the fighting than it is the mech itself, I think. Yeah.
It has an impact on what Jackie feels about
yeah. Okay, let's see here. A 1! We do love to see it. Something goes horribly wrong and you barely make it out alive. Everyone marks the 1 disillusionment.
Oh no!
Hooray. Oh Christ.
Does...
I think...
Okay, so I was like, who has resolve?
I have 1.
I have 1 resolve.
Everyone has 1 resolve. Cool.
I have no resolve and 3 disillusionment.
I hate this war. Oh God, I don't really know what to go. Just, I don't know. Thoroughly thrashed. Turns out that like we thought they were gonna be the joke villains. They are not. They are serious. This is the marking point. Like, oh, this is about serious shit. People are gonna die. Jackie's probably gonna see someone fucking explode.
Yeah. So I've just put it in the Twitch chat. This is no Zaku boy.
No Zaku boy. No Zaku. I wish we could fight a cool blue guy.
Which, yeah, so for everyone not watching, there was a moment in Original Gundam where our main pilot deeply underestimates the enemy. And yeah, I like that. The moment Saint's been talking about from the beginning has finally arrived. Yeah. Is this us kind of after the fight? Kind of licking our wounds and recuperating?
Yeah, sounds like it. We're just like we're alive now, but who knows if we'll be alive next time?
Being tended to by a distressed-looking bug.
God, probably. Just like with a very dumb smile on Jackie's face.
Yeah, I think. Again, this is your scene, so feel free to
Yeah.
cut across. But I definitely think Saint definitely like wants to get across. Like, I told you this was going to happen. I kept saying we can't keep going up there thinking we're going to win.
It's like, yeah, well, who cares when thinking we're gonna lose? That's kind of like a self-defeating philosophy, if you think about it.
Pirouette
least
is silent.
Yeah, just silent. I don't know. There's not a lot going on anymore. We're none of us are saying things.
Yeah, I think even Bug doesn't really have any words for this one.
I mean, I like that as a moment as well. We are all just kind of quietly accepting what happened. Like, the very very somber music playing as we get a little montage of everyone kind of. Again, this is your scene, so feel free to.
No. But yeah, like I said, kind of like the montage. Like I said, not a lot of dialogue. I think that was like the last dialogue. This is the end, and just kind of fade to black as the ship or something goes some away in the distance. Something along those lines.
Yeah, that. Like that a lot. Cool. Vivian, your scene.
I think I might now do my work on your mech one. So I think maybe that's the first time the Duke Phosphorescence got like properly wounded, was in that battle. Just like it's very, because it's so like sturdy and solid, it's like very hard to actually damage it. And now it sort of has been damaged for the first time in a while. And her sort of, yeah, it's just sort of, she likes like doing the network herself, even when like other people complain, being like, we need you on the bridge. And she's like, no, I'm with the Duke.
I imagine
she kind of, sorry, carry on.
No, go ahead.
Is Pirouette kind of mirroredly wounded? Do you get, that wasn't a word, what the fuck am I saying? Is there like a wound or like a physical state to Pirouette that kind of reflects the state of the Duke?
Yes, absolutely. I love that, yeah. Maybe like it's just like a hand or like has been like blown off or something, and she basically like avoids using that hand.
Because at some point in the scene you get Bug pop up like, you should be resting, why aren't you resting?
I mean, it's fine, we just need to get through it. It'll be fine. We've got to keep going. Then I'm gonna roll. See if I can get that 4th point of disillusionment. My mech is 6.
Oh.
I'm gonna roll. I rolled a 5. That's a fail.
Oh my god.
Okay. Oh, it's going real bad for us, lads.
Why are we so bad at this?
Ooh.
I think every roll that's involved Pirouette at all has failed so far.
Wait, which move was this?
This is work with your mech. Something went wrong. And your mech isn't responding the way it should. Don't shift your mech until you do this move again and succeed.
Yeah, considering the other...
I don't actually mark disillusionment.
No.
Yeah, that's what I said. This is actually a fairly good result in terms of failure.
So, yeah, well... yeah, sorry. Go ahead, finish your scene up. Or add to it.
I think it's maybe. I think it's because like we've sort of been a lot of the work that's been done on the Duke has been like either fine tuning or shining it so it looks good on camera. Like we just haven't had to like fix the Duke for a while, and so yeah, we just found like that we're missing some parts, and also like the stuff that we thought worked like isn't quite working, and yeah, and I think like Pirate just like again works through the night and it's not working by the morning, and she's just there and just maybe I think like it's the sort of end of an episode in which like it's just her alone in the mech bay, just sort of like trying to fix stuff and nothing's working, and the credits roll.
Yeah. So I don't like this arc essentially has been a bunch of grim rolls. I like that the mixed success in this game is called a grim success. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like this arc has been that kind of very middling, like we've come out essentially defeated. And now, yeah, the Duke can't move. Tensions are kind of running high between the crew and Alliance. We just got essentially our asses handed to us. And yeah, we are kind of leaving that behind. And we are going to take our next little break. Another 5 minutes. So everyone in chat, feel free to get up, stretch your legs, absorb some sunlight and such. Photosynthesize. And yeah, when we come back, we will discuss the next round as we go into it. And yeah.
Okay.
Great. Hey, welcome back to the third part of this game of Dust to Midnight by Riley Reffel. Another reminder to people, go to metagame.itch.io, have a look at all of Riley's games. They're all great. I love them all. I'm your facilitator, Lee. I am playing the character of Saint Green. I've been incredibly moody this whole time. That will probably continue. I am joined by Clouds.
Hello, I am playing Bug. He is very cheerful.
Tia.
I am playing Jackie Sechel. She is fairly cheerful as well so far.
And Vivian.
And I'm playing Pirouette Lautrec, who is well on her way to a nervous breakdown.
This game is part of the Roll Plus Bond second anniversary stream. Happy 2 years to the server. And we're raising money for the Native American Rights Fund. Go to narf.org to find out more about them. And you can go to tiltify.org/@rollplusbond or donate.rollplusbond.com to find out more. Since last check-in, we have had a donation from Marin. Thank you very much. Where they said they're not very knowledgeable about giant robots. Literally all their brain can do is going, wow, cool robot. And no more thoughts. So this is me paying off their ignorance to make it go away. Hope it works. If you would like to completely reverse that opinion in a way, watch Gundam. The wow, cool robot will always be there, but you'll grow cynical of it. And why you think that. So yeah. Previously on extreme narrator voice, which I can't help but ever picture as the Gundam Wing narrator. So in the dub specifically. So go and watch that after the weekend for the best narrator voice. We had come together in our small little group and fought off a battle to a standstill. Since then, we have jumped over to a slightly larger town. We have been given more difficult tasks. However, that has not gone well for us. We are definitely at a tense point for our characters. Things have been difficult. We lost our next big fight. Did anyone want to throw out a name for the battle we just lost? I should have thought of that on the break. If anyone wants to like name the battles, feel free. Just throw out a random name. Skirmish at Titan. And we are jumping ahead in time. I think we are looking at maybe like a couple more weeks, maybe, do we think?
Yeah.
Up to about maybe like a month in Earth hours. Where it's been this incredibly kind of difficult time for us. One of the things that kind of came out of the last scenes was that the Duke, piloted by Pirouette, is kind of out of action. Until Pirouette manages to roll a successful mech roll or work with your mech roll, the Duke's kind of out of action. Which is very interesting. What has been kind of this big beacon of light for many of us, not going to be seen on the battlefield for a little bit, potentially. We'll see what the scenes do.
Yeah.
And yeah, we are jumping ahead of time. We are going to be coming into this during the fight. Our enemies, the Martian Empire, have encroached on our territory. And your suggestion that you put in the chat, Clouds, I like the idea that this could be the name of what we're doing now. Maybe.
The name I put in the chat was the Enceladus disaster.
Thank you. I was very worried I was going to pronounce it wrong. So, yeah, we are about to fight for control with our enemies. This empire, who's, I imagine, an overwhelming force for us, for control over this gigantic space flowers, Lotus. And yeah, I guess we're kind of in a very difficult position. As the time has passed, has anyone's opinions of each other changed? You can move one of your stats.
Oh, yes. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm going to bump up my bond with Bug to a 6.
Ooh.
Everybody loves Bug.
Lovable scamp.
I have bumped up my bond with Pirouette to a 3. I think that we had a conversation in the last one and it didn't go well. We kind of left on the same terms. I feel like now, after seeing the Duke kind of damaged, and I guess Pirouette probably reacting poorly to that, Saint is like, oh, maybe we're more similar than I thought.
Can't you not shift it? Because we failed in that roll.
Oh, yeah, I don't. If you. Yeah.
You can't shift your bonds with each other until you do this move again and succeed.
Till it's again. Yeah, it's a very good point. Never mind. Ignore me. I know this game. I chose to play it. In that case, yeah, my bonds probably won't change with anyone.
I think Bug's bond with Saint is going down by 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think perhaps subconsciously he kind of blames Saint a little bit for the defeat because of like the attitude.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
I think I'm gonna move Pirouette's bond with Jackie down from 3 to 2.
Oof. Have I failed you?
I think a part of it is that like we haven't really interacted, and
that
things
too.
are suddenly going badly, and Pirouette's generally having a bad time, and so it's a bit like, what's changed? What's changed? New girl, what's she doing?
I'm failing. I'm failing.
But yeah, very much more a reflection of Pirouette than of Jackie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is that everyone's? Yeah. And so we're ready to jump back into it. Does anyone have a scene in mind?
I do.
Ooh,
that's good.
Who would like to go first?
Mine is a ball.
Mine is a kind of a shore leave kind of deal. Do we want to just flip a coin or something?
I can do that. We can do that in I will flip a coin in so 1 for Clouds, 2 for Vivian.
Mm-hmm.
1.
Go ahead.
Cool. So I am going to be a figurehead, which is an odd choice for Bug. But the thing that I envision happening is that Bug is just on shore leave visiting his family. He has a younger sister. In fact, I think he has 3 sisters, and some of them are quite young children. And it's he's not setting out to do anything propaganda. He just is there interacting with his sisters as he normally would, and at some point looks up and realizes that there is a camera trained on him.
My God.
It's just like, oh, okay, I guess this is happening. And I'm going to roll and see what this is like. I'm going to roll. I guess this is war, isn't it? Which I'm sure will be fine. That's a 2, and my war is 6, so it's a 4.
Oh.
Success.
Yeah, that's not how I was expecting this to go at all. Okay. You somehow managed to bring some much needed optimism, or at least glorification, and everyone marks resolve.
Hey.
I think the way that this comes across, again, entirely without anyone meaning it to, because Bug is just trying to vibe, is like they're talking about, you know, about when are you going to come home, big brother? And Bug kind of, without meaning to, delivers this really kind of rousing speech about, you know, it's going to be hard and we're going to lose people, but we're going to make it, and I promise I will come home to you. And it's all very emotional, and probably people cry when they see it, and Bug is just like, I cannot believe that you are capitalizing on this very emotional private moment that I was having with my little sisters. You fuckers.
That's fucking great.
So yeah, it works. Bug does not feel good about that.
No. Just as a reminder for myself, which move was that?
That was be a figurehead.
Cool. I thought so. I just want to double check. Yeah.
Yeah, that scene.
Cool. Yeah, that's that's a heckin' moment. This definitely feels like the moment where when I gave my original pitch of like, oh, we're starting on episode like 33 of a so long series. This feels like the moment that like I originally kind of wanted to start on, like where we are as like in terms of our relationships and how we feel about each other. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So yeah, we got there. Only took us 2 hours. But yeah. Did you want to do your scene next, Vivian? If it still works.
It does. I think it works quite well after that, I think.
Ooh.
So my skill is like army politics, fraternizing with the higher ups. I think there's a ball, a sort of Gjallarhorn / Xeon big ball. Laying on thick. Big, you know, there's sort of, it's a thing which like, it's so like, you see a dress for the first time like on screen in like 20 episodes since the last of these, and it's like, oh, what? You're doing this now? That's weird.
What's Pirouette wearing? This is very important.
Unfortunately, my first thought was the ball from... Well, I'm going to send a link in Twitch just a second. Okay, yeah. It's in Twitch chat.
Oh, yeah.
Love this friend.
For a second, I thought you meant the O.
Oh, that's a different ball, and it's
different ball.
Ball piloted by a very evil man.
Yes. Again, more Gundam references that I don't understand, but
yeah, just look at the ball and enjoy the ball and appreciate the ball.
There are some very good balls in Gundam. I regret saying that instantly.
Okay. Yeah. Anyways, where were we?
Yeah. So, opening shot, Pirouette in a ball gown, which is very new, very different. It's sort of similar color to like jacket in the pic group, so that's sort of sky blue, and that's that thing where it's like there's a bit of the hem that sort of comes up and it's like attached to the wrist, and so it's all very like flowy and moving, and like sort of updo gold jewelry. Looks weird, mostly because you've just seen this person go through a bunch of like bad war stuff. But now is weirdly also in her element here.
Is she still injured?
Oh yeah, it's got other arm is in a sling. One arm has this fancy thing. Hand. I don't know if that has a proper name. Yeah. Anyone else coming along? Or
I think Saint would be there. Again, kind of like the similar thing before, where like, I think Saint would be there out of kind of like obligation / even though I don't want to admit it, I want to be around people. And yeah, so I think Saint is there.
Bug will come if he is asked, but he will not if he is not, because he is very working class.
I think Parrot definitely asked Bug along for moral support.
Okay.
Please help me.
Is Jackie also coming, or is this the quote-unquote adults?
It seems like it's an adult thing.
Cool. Yeah, I think I might roll to see how it goes.
Okay.
But I think this is my skill is 2. I'm gonna roll. I rolled a 3. That's another fail for pirouette.
Are you kidding me? Which move was this again?
This is train your skill.
Okay.
Skill about the politics. Failure. You can't seem to work the way you used to. Mark disillusionment and don't shift your skill until you do this move again and succeed.
Wow.
There's a 4th point of disillusionment.
Someone's gonna leave soon.
Maybe. And yeah, she's at the thing. She's trying to like do it. She's trying to like talk to the generals and be like, of course, we've got to do this, and we've sort of got to get everything in line. And sort of the defensive line of the Lotus like just isn't sufficient anymore. And the enemy has these. They keep managing to come up with new weapons that we don't have, and I'm just sort of going on about sort of all that sort of thing. And just sort of, I think it's like getting a little bit ignored.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, like, she's been failing a lot and does not quite have the sway that she used to.
I like the image and the idea that, like, yeah, like, maybe while you have been out on the fringes of the war and such, and like essentially on the front lines in a way, while the people you're talking to have been like back here, and so there's developed a gap.
This is very Gundam again.
Yeah, it's very Gundam. The person who's gone out and seen the war and like has a bit more experience with it, talking to the people who think they know it. Yeah. Again, it's your scene, so like how you wish to frame it is up to you.
Yeah, it's just that. It's a bit of that. So, and then I think from this, and she, yeah, that's really good because I think like Pirate just sort of like has those moments of being like, oh, they fully do not get this. Like, I always dislike doing this, but now like stuff has definitely changed. And like, and then yeah, just sort of probably comes down and like sits down next to Bug, and it's like, this is shit. This
sucks
shit.
ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is very much just like Bug kind of looking after Pirouette as all of this happens. I don't think he's interested in pretending that this is a better situation than it is. He's just trying to get her through it. There is possibly some time after a very impassioned scene in which Bug is like, I still believe in you. But that is not this one.
Yeah, I think like without saying anything, Saint probably comes over and just like offers a drink.
Yeah, I think Pirouette takes a drink and does not say anything, and just sort of sits there, and sort of the scene fades on her just like sitting, looking a bit defeated.
I love the image of that. Like we would have started this scene with, very bright fanfare, and there's probably a bit of Pirouette being like, I finally get to go back and do what I do, and we're entering it with the three of us huddled in a corner.
Mm-hmm.
Big like distance between Pirouette and the people she previously considered peers.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That might have changed what my scene was going to be.
God, that disillusionment track.
I'm going through it.
Tia, did you have a scene in mind? Or
Yes, I did.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so in terms of mechanics, this is going to be a fraternize, but the context is a bit different, in which I think Jackie is going to visit her grandma because her parents are dead. They were dead for a long while, for the record. It's not like I'm going to tell my grandma that her children are dead. But yeah, and I think in order to do so, she needs a chaperone, and the chaperone, they've elected for the chaperone to be Pirouette.
Good.
So it's like on the way there. Like, what kind of transportation would it be? I think we're still on the same planet, right? Presumably.
I think we have moved maybe somewhere. Like we are essentially like I think we've moved very, very close to like we spoke about this is going to be like the fight over the Lotus.
Mm-hmm.
So like we definitely had the Lotus very small in earlier scenes. So like I think we've moved somewhere.
Okay, yeah. I think, yeah, probably Jackie's grandma's place is actually probably nearby. That's one of the reasons they got pulled into this shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, you live there and you like mechs. Hey, sign up. Yeah, and I think they're probably like, God, does Pirouette have like a car or something?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
like, it's probably
We
her
are
like
definitely in the car then.
her like opening scene was her showing up in this cool car, and now you just have her driving it, and it's just like,
All right, Masato.
Yeah, like just before we get into it, I do like the kind of visual idea of we started this maybe in like Jackie's hometown.
Yeah.
Like in this very small out the way, like maybe Jackie, maybe Bugs as well, or Bug came from somewhere similar.
Mhm.
Very small hometown, and we've kind of been escalating into like bigger and bigger cities. And essentially this is probably, if not, but maybe closer to what Pirouette would consider home. Like it's your character, it's up to you what you want to frame it, Vivian, but like that's kind of my interpretation of it, but like it's up to you with your
that sounds good. Yeah, I like that. And you just have that moment and be like, oh, I remember that mountain / some notable landmark.
Yeah,
and just like drive past a lake, potentially, and there's a flashback to like some kids playing by it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine that.
Yeah, sorry, carry on.
But, yeah. I don't know, I think it's the kind of it's like, when you're just chilling with someone in a car.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, shit's been going down, like that kind of vibe. It's like, sometimes you gotta enjoy the silence.
Oh,
Although Jackie's probably snacking on something, I bet, in the car. There are crumbs. Yeah.
Pirouette's wearing
Yeah.
sunglasses. Occasionally looks over to the crumbs.
Gonna have to clean that up. Hold up. Oh, is it? I know this is on stream, but can I share a story real quick?
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Is it a content warning for food for anyone that's
Yes, it is for puking.
okay? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. One time I was in England and we were being driven to like this cultural event, and right before we got out to the theater, I puked in the car. And that car was driven by someone who later became a Labour MEP for North England. So yeah. Okay, yeah, that's it. Sorry, just remembered.
What a great claim to fame.
Yeah. So that's my impact on English politics. Okay, I think it is time to roll P6. Let's see, my bond with Pirouette is a 3, so that is a 1. Okay.
Is that not a failure?
That is a failure because it is. That's 2, but I have a 3 with you.
Oh, you rolled.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Nothing strange. You both mark disillusionment. Can shift. Okay, let's mark disillusionment.
I love to mark disillusionment.
God, just I don't know what the outcome is other than we're both sad and awkward. Right?
Like, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, just like silence again. Just like
Yeah.
No.
That is a mood warning. Every day I wake up and mark disillusionment.
Yeah. Is that scene? Yeah.
I think it is seen.
Just this very quiet. Oof.
Yeah, oofa doofa.
Yeah. I am a big fan of, and I realize this isn't great for a stream. I'm a big fan of silence for emphasis. So yeah. I guess it's my scene last to go. I don't know what move I'm going to roll, so I'm going to propose a scene. You can tell me if your character's here. We mentioned this is going to be about essentially we're gearing up to fighting over the gearing towards our final arc, essentially.
Yeah.
And I think kind of going back to that first scene we had where it was everyone getting ready to go out for a fight. And I think this is a similar thing. People kind of getting ready to go. We're in like the small pilot waiting and such. Who is there?
Jackie's definitely there. I think.
Bug's there.
Pirouette's not. The Duke's still broken.
Ooh.
Still broke it.
Pirouette can still be there, just in a different mech.
Pirouette does not pilot other mechs.
Okay, I want to throw that out there.
Maybe.
If you wanted to still be in the scene, basically.
Yeah, I mean, but like intentionally. And maybe she's on the bridge and it's like the occasion like switch to her like snapping at nameless peons.
I'm happy with that. Like potentially there's like a microphone in, or there's like a comm system so you can still potentially hear what is happening in this scene. There's probably security cameras as well, actually, now I think about it. And yeah, I think like with everything that's happened, I imagine people are kind of dour. And I think this is a Saint kind of saying, like, what's wrong with you all? We've been in this situation, I don't know how many times, and we're still in this situation. Why are we coming into this one with such dour looks on your faces?
I don't know if this is how Jackie would phrase it, but I do think her sentiment would be, because you're sending a fucking kid into war. Like, what the fuck is your problem?
Bug is just like, that is spectacular coming from you, Saint.
We're sending a kid into war who has been in this war and done more many others would dream of. And yes, I understand if you want to look at me and call me hypocrite, but you have to understand, I never said went in here thinking you would lose. I said go in there remembering that you can. But you can also still win. But if you're going to go out there now and just, I don't know, hang your head low while the enemy rolls on, then why did you come this far?
Make your mind up, Saint.
I don't need to. I have people up top to tell me what I'm doing. No, I understand things have been hard, but they were hard before and they'll be hard again.
Thanks. That's real motivational. We're gonna do what we do, Saint. We're gonna get out there and we're gonna do our best and we're gonna damn well survive. That is what we do. It's what we've always done. And we're gonna, we may not win, but we're gonna try. We're gonna at least keep it in mind as a possibility. This is, fists clenched, hat over face, like the little tears coming out from the side of the face.
Mm-hmm. I think Saint takes a moment where I kind of took back by this, because this is your again making the subtext. This is Saint's entire character being told back to him, and I think he kind of wants to look to Jackie and say, "Why did you build it?"
I like the I like the robots. I don't like what they do.
No, Saint, don't you dare put this on her.
I am not. I'm asking.
'Cause I didn't understand. Like, yeah, obviously, I should be old enough to know better, but I didn't know. Like, if you just look at it on like the TV, it's so fun and exciting. Now, like, I've been there. It's different when you're there. God. Sorry, I'm laughing out of character because oh god, I'm undercutting this, but yeah.
I think what Saint wants to kind of get across is you did something that they weren't expecting, we weren't expecting. You made something surprising, and you have continued to surprise. So, I will, and then kind of looks back to Bug and says, "If you don't mind, I'm here to be the frown and to tell us our odds of survival." And
We're
then
in this
points to-
together, Saint. Don't you ever forget that.
And that kind of takes them back a good couple of minutes, well, seconds, before they, I think, finally ask, "Why Bug?"
One time, me and a crew of scouts were planetside, and we found this device, and it was shut tight, and it was making this sound. And it looked like it might be a bomb, so we drew straws to see who was going to defuse it, and it fell to me. And it took several minutes, and my hands were shaking, and I had no idea what I was going to find in there or how complicated it was going to be, but I finally got it open, and out flew a beetle the size of my thumb. And this kept happening for about 2 weeks until I caught it in a jar and brought it home. My sister has it now. It has a nicer house than I do.
So what? And I think, yeah, go on.
No, you go. I didn't really have an answer to that.
I think like what Saint's trying to kind of process here is who's the beetle in this situation?
The beetle is Hope.
Mm-hmm.
Beetle is Hope.
And I don't know if Saint wants to specifically ask, will we be the beetle in this situation? Will we continue to be the bug? And I'm trying to decide what move I'm rolling here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a hard move to roll.
I think that
Hold on. Although,
Could this be your skill?
I'm
Not really.
considering that. Yeah.
No.
yeah, because well, I mean,
Well,
let's
still-
check again what the skill is. I mean, the skill is a calming voice and stoic attitude.
Mm-hmm.
It does line up.
So yeah, I think this might be skill.
Okay.
My skill is 5.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Wow. Wow.
Hey, what happens if it's 0? Oh, 0 is a failure.
Yeah. Yeah. 0 to 1 is a failure.
You can't seem to work the way you used to. Mark disillusionment and don't shift your skill until you do this move again and succeed.
God.
I am now up to 4 disillusionment. And that is that's the last scene of that.
Yeah.
So, before we kind of move on to jumping forward, do we want the last? We'll figure out what the next round is before we go for our final break. Is it going to be this actual battle we've been gearing up for, or is it after the battle?
I think the actual battle should be the round, and then after that is like, I know it's not part of the game structure, but I always think it's nice to have like an epilogue or something.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely. Yeah. I am absolutely happy to have it be the actual battle. I think that makes complete sense. But I don't know why my brain just said, hey, what if it's 5 years later after we've lost and we're all coming back?
Oh, that's the
Could be the
OVA.
epilogue.
That's later.
Yeah. I am absolutely good with. I mean, we say we say epilogue. We might not make it out of this.
So we don't have to be alive for there to be an epilogue.
Yeah, that's true. So all good with the final round essentially being kind of we're in this fight. These are the scenes happening around the combat and in between. Essentially, we are 15 minutes away from this moment that's just happened.
Hmm.
Are we all good with that?
Sounds good.
That's good to me.
Cool.
In terms of numbers,
Mm-hmm.
do we want to set the cutoff point now? Do we say?
Oh, we could. Hold on. I'm trying to think of relationship bonds to change. Yeah, I'm lowering my bond with Saint. No offense, but you know how it is.
Yeah, that's fair.
There is a helicopter outside.
I'm raising my bond with Pirouette back to 6.
Ooh.
Hooray!
It is up to you whether this is reciprocated, but I think that there is, at least on Bug's side, some romantic feeling there now.
Ooh la la.
Oh. Interesting. So I think
To amp up the tragedy.
Mhm.
so. My Saint and my Jackie bonds are both fixed now because of all those failed rolls. And then my Bug's at 6, so I can only take it down.
I mean, you can leave it as it is if you wish.
Yeah.
I have moved mine up 1 with Bug.
Hey.
Hooray.
I think that is something that was surprising to a surprising scene for Saint. I think. I think. Yeah, my bond is if he opened his eyes. I think that Saint imagines that. Oh, maybe Bug's eyes are more open than I imagined.
Hey.
So, without looking at anyone else's character, she's looking only at her own. Where do you think we should cut off the numbers at? My brain says 5.
I was thinking 6, but 5 also works. Actually, yeah, if it's one more round, then it probably should be 5.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm more likely to hit 5 than 6.
Same.
I would say 6 because I'm at 5.
Oh, okay. Okay, no, let's
just
not
for you.
immediately take our hero pilot out of the fight.
So yeah, is everyone good with 5?
I think so.
Cool.
You just said 6.
Oh, 6. Sorry. Yeah. Yes, 6.
Or is it just 5 for us and 6 for Pirouette?
6. Yes. Cool.
Okay.
Sorry. Someone was bringing me coffee. As
Love to see it.
I was trying for a second. Okay, cool. We will take our final 5-minute break. I will. Yeah. Everyone, stretch your legs, recycle fluids. When we come back, you will see the battlefield of new types, I suppose.
Now recording. Now recording. Now recording. Now recording.
Hey, and we are back for our final hour of Dust to Midnight by Riley Raffle. On this, the Roll Plus Bond second anniversary stream. It's been a game. So, my name is Lee. I am playing the role of Saint Green, everyone's favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's favorite asshole.
Yeah. Saint Green is the character that if you're watching the anime and you think you understand what the characters are saying or what the writers are trying to say, and you're like, oh, this is my favorite because they're cynical. And then you come back to it 20 years later and you realize, oh boy, I read that character so wrong. That's who Saint Green is. I am joined by Cloud.
Hello, I am playing Bug. Everyone loves Bug.
Tia.
Hello, I'm playing Jackie Sichel. I don't know who loves her. I hope she loves herself at least.
Mhm.
Oh,
And Vivian.
I'm playing Lautrec. Lautrec has failed every single role so far and definitely does not love herself.
But Bug does.
Oh,
And yeah, this stream, as well as celebrating our wonderful little community, is raising money for the NARF, the Native American Rights Fund. You can find out about them at narf.org or go to donate.rollplusbond.com to donate to. Do we have a new goal, or are we just flying past our previous one? But yeah, help us surpass our goal and go further beyond. And such, much like Halcyon, who has donated since I last checked. Talking about the Titanfall scale hard suit as their favorite cool robots. Very much agree in that. I love the Titanfall mechs. Mainly because I think Titanfall does very cool things with playing around with mechs having personality in a very hard sci-fi way. I like it a lot. And they also mentioned their soft spot for the Jenna, which I recommend everyone goes and looks up. It looks amazing. Battletech is like the one mech franchise I am terrified of because there's like 400 books. And I like just get, and they're all from the 80s, which means there's going to be stuff I don't like. Not that Gundam's any better. But and yeah, my computer doesn't run the video game, unfortunately. I realize I don't argue with them about them. Titanfall suits should have heads. All mechs should have heads.
Okay.
Let mechs have heads.
Yes.
2020.
We are in our final, potentially, probably, final set of scenes. We have set our disillusionment track to 6, or resolve track. If anyone somehow gets a bunch of resolve in,
We're really good at rolls.
yeah. Then we can. Then yeah. So for everyone for keeping track, my resolve is currently at 2. My disillusionment is at 4. If anyone wants to shout out theirs.
My resolve is at 2. My disillusionment is at 3.
My resolve is at 2. My disillusionment is at 3. Same as Bug.
my resolve is at 1. My disillusionment is at 5.
I
And my
love
only
that.
resolve came from Bug being tricked into being used as propaganda. That is the only time I felt good in this entire game.
That says a lot. Oh boy.
We
Anyway,
sure have had a game.
yeah. If we have time at the end, I will talk a little bit about why I kind of picked this game and stuff. But anyway, does anyone have a scene in particular they want to do?
Really
Oh,
should have
dang.
thought of this in the break, huh?
So I'll say we came into the last one with like mine. So wanted to yeah. If no one has one,
I
might do I want to do that?
Did someone just say they did?
Oop.
I potentially.
Yeah, feel free.
I don't really have a scene. I just because we're just doing the battle, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, we are playing the battle, and so
Uh, yeah, I might do a sort of command from the bridge scene for an attack the enemy, and I think
Yeah.
this is very much the. This is very much the sort of main villain has sort of had a bunch of things and they're going for their sort of last ditch attempt and just sort of
Mhm.
throwing anything at the Gundam in an attempt to stop it
Mhm.
in a sort of very reckless way that's very out of character for how they've been portrayed before because they've been having a bad time.
Yes, this is if we're comparing it to, I was about to say something that I realized I can't say, because at least one of you is currently watching the show, so I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, no worries. I think I get what you mean, though.
Yeah.
So, okay.
And so yes, this is Pyrrha on the bridge, just sort of like commanding, just sort of going around, just sort of like. I don't think I mentioned it, but I think in that last scene there would be an occasional cutaway to like Pirouette, just sort of like watching that little conversation between the three of you
Yeah, definitely.
from the bridge. Yeah, and this is just her in full on like tactics mode, being like big thing up, and it's like this is her like as the Bright or Augur, just being like, you go here, people go here, they go up here, you get on this station, you switch to there, you go to the other bridge. And like, I think she still is portrayed as like pretty competent, but it's just a bit like, it's all happening.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, Saint, Jackie, go full on, straight on attack, you two fly together and go sort of straight forward. Bug, hang back, lay support, and just sort of get ready to sort of go in. And just like very da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah. What stat are you rolling for this?
I'm gonna roll a war,
Cool.
which is a 5. And let's roll that roll. Roll? Oh
Woo!
my god. What? That's a 4, which is a complete success.
Talk
somehow-
about picking a moment.
You somehow
Yeah.
beat the odds and manage a victory. What have you gained? Success. You manage some kind of victory. Everyone marks 1 resolve. And so I guess what this looks like is sort of that working, basically. Just being like, she's sort of like got everything lined up. She's like, yep, this is in place, everything's sort of ready. And yeah, I don't know. How's everyone else reacting
Yeah,
to
I think what maybe this will come up in another. I might regret mentioning it here. I like that what this essentially looks like to Saint, which kind of call back to that fraternize we had where you mentioned your fear of the flower. And I think what Saint is thinking about is, why should we fear a flower when we've got this? This being Pirouette. Like, look at what we can do just following these commands.
I think you get a shot of Bug in the cockpit of Strix saying, yes, ma'am, looking very resolute, and you get a very quick shot of the photo of his 3 sisters.
Oh. Yeah. I think Jackie just being competent, like nothing flashy so far.
Nice.
But I actually have an idea for a scene, if that sounds okay.
Yeah.
So in the similar way to Bugs be a figurehead in the sense that I'm not actively being propaganda, but I think there is like a fucking camera crew or something filming everything, and they notice that like Jackie is about to do hopefully some really cool shit, like getting ready. You can like tell from the body language of the mech. It's a lot like, well, yeah. It's somehow before like it's moving more human than it ever has. Just like the motions, it's not clunky anymore. It's like, oh, this is how a human would like beat up someone, basically. Because oh yeah, we never did mention weapons. I do think this is more of a hand-to-hand type thing.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about mobile suit martial art now and dying. Oh no. Yeah. But yeah, I think she's ready to do like a. Actually, I don't know much about martial arts is the problem, but some kind of cool kick. Like just running and then jumping and kicking, basically. And I think at that point I have to roll, and I do think this is. Yeah, well, because it's a figurehead, it's roll war. It's not something I decide. That is the 3. A 3, I believe, is a grim success. Doesn't mean anything this far in the word do nothing. I think it's like it works, but they fumble, it's like, oh, like you did it, but it's like it's not pretty. It probably gets pretty ugly too. Like just beating the shit out of this mech. Just like, oh, like I said, if this was an attack roll with like mech, it would be a great success. But because this is not that, this is how does this look in propaganda? It's like, oh, this looks bad. We probably shouldn't use this. So yeah.
Yeah, like what I like this kind of implies is there is always this element in Gundam shows and many mech shows, particularly Gundam, where a big part of the series is, hey, how do we turn this small child into our symbol for victory, right?
Yeah.
How do we? I think I mentioned this in terms of Iron-Blooded Orphans. Most Gundam shows are about, hey, how do we get all the empathy out of? Whereas IBO is like, hey, how do we put some empathy in this boy? And like, I think what this moment looks like to me is, what happens if you do that and it doesn't work? What happens if you have your big psychic boy to pilot the psychic gun and it doesn't work the way you wanted it to?
Well, bad environment for a teen.
Yes.
You're all complicit. Oh, I laugh, but it's a grim laugh.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but that is the scene. I'm thinking that's good.
Yeah. Klaus, did you have a scene in mind, or?
Vaguely, but if you have a more solid scene in mind, then go for it.
I was going to. I realized we'd come through these scenes very quickly, so we'll probably get another round in as well after this. I was going to potentially do an attack. And I think what this kind of looks like is, I like that these are scenes where we're kind of like doing our own thing, and potentially we can do some scenes afterwards for after the fight. I like that. Yeah, I think this is like more like I like the idea that while important character on screen, narratively, Saint is just one of rank and file. So I think what this looks like is Saint being one of the rank and file, listening to Pirouette, watching Jackie, and kind of doing their part. Doing what they are meant to do. And yeah. If you want to do your scenes take place kind of before that, feel free. clouds, like.
I think I've come to something, and it's a kind of a much more inward facing scene, so maybe it would work better before.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I don't want to make this roll and it like mess up your flow.
This is Bug. His in the cockpit. His hand hovering over some command to do with the scanners, which you may recall he found something sinister in earlier in the game. And this made his relationship with his mech worse. And the kind of the thrust of the scene is basically Bug being like, I am in this mech. I cannot do my job without this mech. So I am going to have to make my peace with the things that it does.
Mm-hmm.
For the kind of for the good of the rest of the squad. And it shows him starting and then hesitating, and his hand hovering over the button, and a kind of a quiver in his face muscles. And I am going to roll, and we'll see how this goes.
What movie you rolling?
It's mech. My mech is 2, and I rolled a 1. So that went badly.
This started off.
Yeah. Something went wrong, and your mech isn't responding the way it should. Don't shift your mech until you do this move again and succeed. I think not fatally, but I think Bug gets taken out. Like there are, you cut back to wherever the base is currently, and you see the alarm doors open, and the alarm's doors open. Someone gets rushed in, and like the audience and everyone in the hangar is surprised to see that it's Bug.
It's Bug.
Probably dismayed also to see that it's Bug.
Yeah.
He looks bad.
As much as failures being failures, me as a player doesn't hate how this is like turning out visually, like in my head. I will say.
Cool, that's scene for me.
Yeah, I think this is cool. So yeah, I think what this scene looks like for Saint is potentially we are seeing like Bug getting taken out. We are seeing Jackie kind of doing these amazing stuff, but like it's not as inspiring as it should be. And Pirouette is giving commands that are helping us win this fight. But I think with the combined stuff going on with Bug and Jackie, I think Saint goes off book. Saint believes, hey, I'm a good mech pilot. I can do the things that will help us win. And I'm going to roll my mech. My mech is 6.
Good luck.
So let's see what happens. 2.
Oh.
That's a 4.
Hey.
That's a success. You manage some kind of victory. Everyone marks 1 resolve.
Hey, my resolve is now bigger than my disillusionment.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Although this isn't actually a good thing if you read what resolve ends up doing.
Oh yeah, no, it's
Absolutely.
amp
Yeah.
up the tragedy. Maybe.
Yeah, I think we win this fight. We have essentially kind of gained victory over our enemies, and they are like retreating. I don't think I want to frame this as Saint saved the day. I want to frame this as like we won because of everything everyone was doing. I don't want to turn this around to secretly Saint was the boy all along, because that's not interesting to me. It's interesting in different contexts, but not in this one. Yeah, I think we potentially have time for another quick round
I think so too.
with some small scenes like that one. What I potentially want to kind of, and like, we haven't really touched on the idea of infighting within our faction, other than the pirouette scene. And I think I'd like to come back to that for our like kind of finale. How do people feel about that?
Sounds good to me.
I had the idea of what if this is now when we do the like year time jump and nothing has changed and we're still fighting and a lot of people have died.
Oh, I'm
and
good with
Saint
that.
was.
Christ.
Okay, I'm good with that as well.
Yeah, I'm good with
Yeah,
that
for sure.
too.
Cool. We'll do that. So yeah, these might again be quick scenes like the last ones, but yeah. So it's been a year.
Are we adjusting relationships?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. I immediately got deep in the tank thinking how and if I wanted to.
Yeah, I think. Oh yeah, this is optional. I'm not going to change any of mine then.
I'm going to bump Saint up by 1. You did good.
You did good, kid.
Proud of you.
God, honestly, I think in my head, Saint is voiced by David Hayter.
Probably, yeah. Very probably. I like the framing here that I actually can't remember what I started on with all my skills. I like the framing here that potentially we have in this year, or I like the framing that Saint, at least maybe everyone else, has separated. And this is potentially us coming back together, either on purpose or like fates have deemed it. And so I've upped 1 with Bug to 6.
Nice. Everyone loves Buck.
Yeah, I think that I like the picture that Saint has, or the image that Saint has kind of like left potentially, or gone on to do something with a different squad. And coming back and seeing that people are still fighting, particularly Bug, kind of, he likes that. Like, my feeling on war is still free. I'm still ambivalent to it, but I'm like, oh, people didn't just give up after that. I also feel like Saint's visually has like cut off his hair, and visually looks different. Quit smoking, maybe? No, probably not.
Is Bug the first person he sees?
I think potentially, yeah, maybe.
Ooh.
Yeah. At which point he gets a big warm smile and a little wave.
But yeah. Did anyone else change any of their bonds or have any visual updates for their characters that are not represented on the pick crews?
Yes. I'm moving my bond with Bug down to 5.
Ooh.
Because I think that basically Pirouette had a blip, But starting with that battle, she sort of realized that started to get recognized by the superheroes again. But she's now a commander. She's been promoted. She doesn't really fly the Duke anymore. And it's sort of weird. And now she's like, oh yeah, of course I'm still a pilot. I just have other things to do at the moment. But the Duke's sort of not. The numbers weren't doing so well on the propaganda featuring the Duke. It was just a bit too flashy compared to the other mechs. And but yeah, has got now short haircut, fancier uniform. Now more often in dress uniform than more practical stuff.
Is there much like visually changes we think with Bug and Jackie?
I think much even more unkempt than previously. I think not much besides that.
I think it's most interesting if Bug is just the same old Bug.
He's this. I refuse character development. Or yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Does anyone have a scene in mind?
I went first last time, so I'll give it up to someone else. But potentially, if no one else does.
If you have a scene in mind, feel free to shout out with it.
Yeah, I would like to fraternize with Saint. Actually, no,
Okay.
fraternize with Jackie.
Cool. That's interesting.
So I think they're like, yeah, maybe they've been apart as well. And like, Pirouette stopped smoking, actually. That's another change. She quit. But yeah, this is sort of a bit of a reunion. Maybe we've got another sort of big move coming up. And actually no, you know what, I'm losing it. Maybe it is Saint. And it's just another like redo of that, another of those smoke barrack scenes. I don't know. I'm so
I mean,
undecided.
we could do a scene where most people are still in the scene, even if you're rolling on a particular character's bond.
Actually, yeah. Let's go for maybe just a reunion scene of just like maybe we've seen each other. This is a proper like briefing of our first mission together again after some time apart.
I like that.
And like Pirouette's just sort of like we're sort of on sort of another main bridge, another sort of command room, and she's sort of like she's got one of those fancy space maps on a big table, and it's like okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back here. We've got a sort of new mission. The Lotus. We need to continue to protect the Lotus. It's gone interestingly, but we're just gonna keep going. We're just gonna sort of move over here. We're gonna sort of get some stuff in place, and
I think Sane kind of cuts it. Saint cuts in and just says, "Drop it."
Bug stiffens.
Excuse me, officer.
Is it just us there or other soldiers there? We think.
I would think some others as well.
Yeah, I think Saint says, we've been at this long enough. We don't need another stiff voice giving us orders. We know what we're doing, so drop the act.
So great to have you back, officer. As I was saying, these are the sort of maneuvers we're going to go through. This is the sort of patterns we expect the enemy to be moving in. They've unveiled, we've sort of got some idea of this new weapon they've been using, but we don't fully understand how it works. And so this is going to be as much a sort of information gathering thing of like trying to get as much combat data from them as possible. So we are going for a more engagement than we would usually be going for. This is much about information as keeping up anything else. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Nope.
Okay.
I think Saint wants to ask, what are the odds here? that this goes well for
The
us.
odds. Why is that useful information for you? Our odds improve if we get this data. That's what a victory is. This is a slow. We're not gonna get this one victory and win the whole war. We need to gather this information. That's what we're doing here. We're also doing control. We have met a lot of excellent pilots here, yourself included, as much as it pains me to say that. But our odds are good, and those questions, as always, aren't helping anyone.
It helps me. And then Zane gets up to leave.
Okay, we launch in 30 minutes. I'll see you in the launch bay. And then I think she sort of walks out after Saint.
Mhm.
It just like catches up. And I was just like, it's nice to see you again. I'm sorry for that.
No, I get it. You know, you have your role to play. You have your shiny new command now. Kind of like motions to the uniform, I guess.
Thank you.
You're doing a good job of it.
That's what they say.
Tell me,
Yes,
are you still scared of it?
more than ever.
Like, yeah, I think like by the time we last saw the flower, like it's bloomed a lot more. Like,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, he says, I think this is like that callback that I mentioned previously. I think Saint says, I was always scared of you. Your presence, your abilities. You see things that I can't, and that scares me.
Well, you got to use it. You got to use every little resource you have. I use my fear of the lotus. Find out whether you use your fear of me.
And that's why I'll listen to what you say when I'm in that cockpit.
Great to hear it. I'm at roll there.
Mm-hmm.
Fraternize. My bond with Saint is 1.
Couldn't imagine why.
And I rolled a 4, so that's a 3, which is a grim success. Grim success, you've gained some kind of understanding of the other, or at least you think you have. Shift your bonds with each other 1 point in either direction right now. So no point. But yeah, I'm going to move my bond with Saint up to a 2.
I am
Wow.
moving mine up to a 3. Yeah, I think that played off the previous Fraternize quite well.
Mhm.
I like that. Did anyone else have a scene they had in mind?
I also had a fraternize
Yeah.
Let's fraternize.
with Pirouette.
Ooh la la.
I think this is it's a kind of a calm before the storm type of night. It's warm out. There's like the dregs of a campfire, and Bug is just kind of sitting next to it, playing guitar and singing. And at some point, spots Pirouette and comes up to say hi.
Bug.
Hey,
Hi.
we don't get to see you much around here these days.
I've been busy. You know,
You sure have.
after what happened a year ago, turned around a bit. I've been doing okay. And we've been winning a bit. Which helps. It helps.
It does. I wanted to ask you something.
Go ahead.
Why are you afraid of the flower?
Why am I afraid of the flower? Because I've seen what it can do.
I've seen that too, and I have to wonder if we've been seeing the same thing. I've seen it create life that we've never seen. Quick sidebar out of character. Is this a kind of, we used up all the Earth resources and moved on to terraforming other planets because humans are terrible?
Probably.
Yeah.
Right.
Humanity's never seen a space that they don't look at and go, what if mine?
True. And I think he kind of goes on to after what happened on Earth and after the mess we made there, I have to believe that something that can create new and rich and beautiful life the way that that flower can has to be worth something. You know?
Everything has a cost, Bug. You can't get something from nothing.
And we've been paying it. But I have to at least hope that the thing that we're fighting for is something that we can fight for without fear. At least without fear of the end of it.
Maybe you're right.
This is where I roll. 2, so that my bond with you is 6, so that is a 4. Which means relationship has gotten much more charged. Shift your bonds with each other 2 points in either direction right now, or 1 point and mark resolve. Going to shift 1 point down and mark resolve, which puts me at 5 resolve.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move. I'm also gonna mark resolve, and I'm gonna move down. Bug has never actually challenged her on just about anything.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't know how to think about this.
I think the last thing that happens is kind of a close-up of the lower half of Bug's face with blushies, and he just says, "You know I'll follow you anywhere, right?"
Everything has a cost.
And that scene.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Tia, did you have a scene in mind, or?
Kind of. Because I realized I haven't done train your skill yet.
Mm-hmm.
But the skill is kind of like doing, mechanics. But maybe I'm fixing someone else's mech is what's going on here. Like, who here has the most fucked up mech at the moment?
So, I would like to propose something, and
Feel
it might
free.
go against the kind of like rules of the game in a way, but I think narratively and seeming that like after this, my scene will be.
Yeah.
What if you're fixing up the Duke?
I'm fine with that. Just fixing up the Duke and ooh, yeah, I know. Yeah, because I know how I have an idea for how this would go if it's a failure or a grim success or a success. So yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think just fixing the Duke. Does Pirouette have anything to say about this, or is it just like, yeah, you're fixing my thing?
Maybe, yeah. I maybe Pirouette suggested it. And it was just like, actually, no, I don't think. I think, yeah, she was just like, yeah.
You
Okay.
know how this works. You fix it. Yeah,
It's like,
Can I
I'm-
make a
you know.
suggestion?
Absolutely.
It's going really, really badly to the point where we've lost enough people that we need Pirouette back in the mech.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and there is this is definitely a montage throughout the night, I think. So, okay. It's a 4, and I'm rolling a 6. Hold on, let me check something real quick. Okay, yeah. A 2. That is a grim success. Okay, yeah. I'm going to shift my skill point up to 1, mark 1 disillusionment. And what I think happens is the uncomfortable thing I learn about myself is Jackie inadvertently, like, mentally starts talking to the Duke, and he responds.
Mm.
Just like, yeah. Like, there were glimmers of that with the question marks, but now it's the first time this happened, and especially, like, with another mecha, it's like, oh, maybe my mech isn't special. Maybe I'm fucked up. Maybe I have a problem in my brain. But yeah, just kind of like, and they just kind of sit there with that realization and walk away.
Okay.
Like, the mech is fixed though, so don't worry about that.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It's been a year and a half, and the Duke moves again. I like that, and yeah. But yeah, it leaves questions about Jackie. I like that a lot. Definitely that. Okay. Final scene, which is mine. I really kind of struggle with how this feels, but I kind of want to roll be a figurehead. And I think what this looks like is Saint in their mech, kind of. Maybe it's like be a figurehead to me implies that we are talking to the crowd at large, but I think maybe this is a private communication between us. Where Saint kind of wants to open up around like everything and just kind of say, I'm sorry. I misjudged every single one of you previously. I thought I was speaking sense. I thought I was a counter to the propaganda. I thought I was a counter to everything that everyone else was saying, but I realized I'm tired. And I wanted this to end, but if we all stop now, they win. If we all go in and expect our losses, it doesn't go well for us. I'm glad, Pirouette, to have listened to your command for this long and to continue to do so. Jackie, I think you will continue to do amazing things. You've got the Duke working again. Something everyone said was impossible. You can funnel that into anything. And Bug, I'm sorry.
Me too, man. Me too.
And yeah. I am going to roll my war, which is 3. which I realized I kind of said, oh, I'm going to roll this, which means that, like, you know, it's an even odds. I realized that's potentially the worst thing to do
Yeah,
because it can't be a success.
it cannot be a success.
So it's a 1. So it's a failure. Everyone marks disillusion.
Wait, yeah, you're right. Okay. Yeah, sorry.
Bye,
Um,
everyone.
So yeah, what is that 6 for your disillusionment, Vivian?
That is.
Okay. Is anyone else at 6? I'm at 5.
I'm at 4.
I'm at 5.
Okay, so when a disillusionment track fills up, so when the disillusionment track fills up, you finally give up. You abandon the cause. Do you tell anyone? Where do you go? What happens? You tell us.
So, on hearing that, the Duke is working again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Kurt gets back in it for like the first time in a year. And is just thinking about what Saint was saying, what Bug was saying, and just sort of everything else. And then there's yeah, there's like a sort of so many options. Do I just run away to a farm? Do I defect? Yeah, I think there's a. I don't know. I think Parrot gets a call, and you sort of like she hasn't sort of mentioned this, but sort of you sort of get it in a flashback that like in the sort of year off, she's got engaged.
Oofta.
And her fiance just died.
Oh.
And she sort of, after like having all those conversations, she like is back in the Duke. It's sort of there. She sort of gets this message and looks up at the Lotus. And yeah, flies out the mech bay. And in the middle of the night, and doesn't come back. And in the morning, she's gone. And no one saw her leave.
Oof. Yeah. So, if there is still more than one player in the game, which there is, you stop normal play to discuss how their loss affects the remaining pilots. How are they remembered by your squad? What are you told happened to them by your higher-ups? How does this change your group's dynamic? And then we mark a destiny track that marks how we feel about this.
Yeah, actually,
Oh.
sorry.
Go on.
I don't think she'd take the Duke. I think
Okay.
that's still part of the sequence. I still think she gets in the Duke and looks at the Lotus and like gets the message. But
That might change my answer. to what I was
takes like she takes her car, obviously.
Yeah.
She just like drives off into the sunset.
Okay.
And there's some weird music playing.
Okay.
It's kind of confusing.
Getting pretty close. I think, paradoxically, I think I'm going to mark resolve.
Mm-hmm. What does
I
that
don't
leave
know,
your
but
resolve at?
Both are at 5. My resolve and disillusionment are at 5.
Cool. Bug, how does that leave you?
Oh boy.
Sounds like I think I know what's gonna be for you, but it's your choice after all.
Bug has something to prove.
Mhm.
I'm marking resolve, which puts my
Oh.
resolve at 6.
Oh.
So, just because we are coming towards the end here, I will jump in very
Yeah.
quickly and say I
Yeah.
was also going to mark resolve, which also puts my resolve at 6.
Okay, yeah, I know what's gonna happen now.
So, is this scene? So for people listening, when a resolve track is filled, we die heroically, fighting until your very last moments. Who or what do you die to protect? So yeah, I am taking the resolve option. And dying heroically. Bug is doing the same. What is Jackie picking?
I think it is going to be a resolve in the end. So yeah, I think we're all dead. Except for Pirouette, we're all dead.
Oh my god.
I want to propose. Who or what do we die to protect? I'm gonna propose each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm actually going for something more abstract. I think Jackie is the last one, if that's okay with both of you.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Like, you're already both dead by the time Jackie is ready.
I like that actually, yeah.
Yeah. Because mine is, Jackie's is kind of like, I think it's a bit more on the abstract end. For the, like, she dies for the realization that something other than this is possible. And it's related to that whole psychic robot conversation, basically, she had with the Duke. Just like, hey, we can, like, hell, if we can understand these things, we can understand each other, and I'm gonna fucking die, but I hope that through this, people will understand somehow that people, like, we can understand each other. We don't have to keep on doing this. Like, I don't think at this point she's even sure what the hell was going on. Just like, this is pointless. This is meaningless. I hope that people realize that this is pointless. I hope that people realize they don't have to keep on doing this. And yeah.
Yeah.
So Debug
And then
and Saint
she
die
gets
to
pierced
buy
through
you
the
time.
chest and dies.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, like, I definitely think, like, especially with, like, Bug and Saint being kind of at odds in attitude towards, for most of this game,
Yeah.
there's a poetry in the fact that they kind of die side by side. Like, visually, but also narratively, the two opinions on why we fight equate to the same thing. And yeah, that is it. That's quite an ending. I like that ending a lot. So yeah, I will give everyone a chance to kind of do shout outs before we kind of sign off. Normally, if there's only one pilot left, the game is over, and along with the war together, we reflect on the legacy of our pilots. I imagine we are essentially debris in space.
Yeah.
There's no big fanfare for us, in a way.
Absolutely not.
I realize that's very depressing. I apologize to depress everyone on Saturday. Now. However, the nature of these things.
Although I think where it is mentioned, the blame is left entirely on Pirouette.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
And like there's a meeting higher up being like, we've had this sort of big loss. It was immediately after the loss of the commander who deserted traitorously, and yeah, that's how they justify it themselves as like, oh, of course.
Like, yeah, in a way, Pirouette becomes the propaganda of like, don't be like this, which again has like a kind of nasty poetry to it. So,
you also get the shot of Bug's three sisters laying a wreath on some monument somewhere.
No.
Yeah. I don't think anyone mourns Saint. As sad as that is to say, I just think that, maybe there's someone somewhere who leaves out like a glass of whiskey or something, but it's never explicitly stated. But yeah, thank you everyone in the chat for joining us. Thank you to everyone watching VOD on YouTube for watching this game. Hi, what's up? And a very special thank you to everyone here on this call, to Clouds, Tia, Vivian, and of course to our wonderful Morning for hosting us and streaming this out to you, and to everyone in the chat for joining, Marin and all the other mods for doing so. I hope you all enjoyed this game. Please keep tuned for the upcoming games. After this, they are playing Zimta Butza. I feel like I pronounced that wrong, and I apologize to Halcyon for doing so.
I think Halcyon is the only Latvian speaker, so yeah.
Zimta Butza.
Zitma Puse?
I have listened to the clip that Halcyon sent me 40 times. I am awful at pronouncing things, and I apologize. It is.
I heard that.
It is a game about renaming a map based on a person's personal evaluation as opposed to what has come before. It sounds fantastic.
I have played this game. It is good.
Yeah, it is a fantastic premise. I really like that. Yes, please go and check that out. Check out Dusk to Midnight. I'm very well at the time, and I want to be very quick in this, but I kind of wanted to say that this game was originally made as part of the Emotional Mech Jam a few years ago. It is a game jam that really introduced me to a lot of games that I wouldn't otherwise, and being part of this community has also done that in a way, so I kind of wanted to combine these together. I'm a big fan of the mech genre. I believe a lot of people look at it and don't pay attention to what the genre is actually saying. This was a game that tells the stories that I think mech tells very well. I realize it's very emotional, but that's the way the mech genre is way more about people and how they connect and how they fail to connect than people give it credit for. But yeah, go watch Gundam on Monday. From Monday onwards, go watch Gundam. It's very good. Yeah, this is me signing off. You can follow me on Twitter at WHEE_LEIGH, where I tweet about mech stuff a lot. If anyone wants to plug anything, go ahead.
You can follow me on Twitter at TheViciousPixie, and you can find my games at gamesofabsence.itch.io.
You go.
No, go, Vivian. You go first because you probably have more to say than I do.
You can follow me on Twitter at ocean1212_W, and which is a Sylvia Plath reference, in case you didn't know. Just sad vibes. Yeah, I'm starting to write games at genderphage.itch.io. I have a couple of Twine games and one-page RPG on there. You can find my band at ethermech.bandcamp.com, and I am being featured on a big sort of trans music project that's releasing in about a month from Over at Music, which is over OVERATMUSIC on Twitter, and that's gonna be really cool. I'm collaborating with this amazing poet. She's called Josie Giles. It's an amazing poet. And it's really good. It's going to be really fun, and that EP comes out in about a month.
Cool. Antia?
Yes. I don't have any social media, games, or writing to plug, so instead I will give 2 shoutouts. One to Violet's RPG server. If any of you are watching this, I think Riley was watching this. Hi, if you're still there. And a shout out to Yoshiyuki Tomino.
Shout out to Tomino.
Yeah, shout out to Tomino, but also stop.
We're not gonna list all of them because we can't.
Yes,
they're there in spirit.
Yes, thank you all for joining us. Enjoy the next game. It sounds fantastic. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Do something nice for notice on yourself.
Good game.